like to call this meeting to order. Please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As you all know, we met up on Sac Road and we were discussing everything that we learned a little later in our meeting. Right now, I would like to know if we have any additions to the agenda.
I have two.
You have two.
Yep. I have an update on old engine 1 from Todd. He will not be here, so I'm gonna do it.
Okay, so that should go under old business, am I correct?
Yep.
Okay,
And then I need to request an executive session with the select board alone.
okay. Personnel,
Yes.
contractual, personnel?
Personnel.
Personnel, okay. So do you don't mind if we do that?
We can do that
Quite
very last thing.
Last
it
thing,
doesn't matter.
okay. Okay. Well, I just made a mockery of that. I need a motion for that, please. So moved. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion to add to the agenda an update on the, say that again,
Old engine 1.
old engine 1, and a personnel matter to be added, one under old business and the other, the personnel matter at the last possible moment of the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Any opposed? Okay. Is there anything else added to the agenda, anybody? I even have nothing this time.
Well, I think we should extend our sympathies to the Benson Selectboard, who's lost one of their members.
Benson?
Benson.
Oh, well, then our sympathies and condolences to that board. Sorry for your loss. All right, seeing none, we'll go, do you have something to add?
I do, that's
All
why
right.
I'm standing here.
Well, I was thinking, I thought you were just, I'm
Watching
sorry.
you.
No, because my hair looks terrible tonight. So you wouldn't be watching me. No, I thought that you had something, to.
Well, I think this is where I should come in. I
Okay.
wanted to talk about putting some curtains up on the windows in the lobby of the town office building. So, we're supposed to approach the select board
Yes,
without doing
absolutely.
anything.
Um,
So,
Do you wanna have that put on the agenda for tonight? So we can talk about it?
Please talk about
I would have
Talk
some
about it.
questions about it,
Yeah,
certainly
so
before we actually.
let's add that
move
under
forward,
new
sure.
business. Okay, new business library, and that would be B, not A or B, B, library, any questions for drapes or whatever, okay. Is there anything else? No?
thank you.
All right, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to have the libraries speak under new business. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it then. Anything else to be added? Okay, sorry, I thought you were gonna have some sort of open public comment. That's why I thought you were standing there, so, all right. And the chair also has no remarks this evening, which is a very big surprise for all. But anyway, so let's move on to open public comments. Go
I
ahead, Rob.
have 3 reminders, they're announcements, but they're reminders. First of all, I'm not on the task force for the store, but anybody who hasn't signed this, it's a questionnaire by the task force for the store. It's gonna be in the newsletter, but it's also it's upstairs, and it's really, Annette and others on that task force need to know what we want in the store, what the store has, what we want the store to offer us. So that's what
Okay,
that's about.
We're getting a store in Vernon?
They're looking into whether or not we want a store.
That's
but-
one
Oh,
of
I
those
see.
committees.
Hot
No,
shot.
I'll be excited about
That's
that.
one of those rural
I'll
development.
meet you there for coffee every day.
That sounds wonderful.
Isn't
Um,
that one of the rural development?
Pardon? Yes, it was
That's one
part of the
rural
VCRD
development
task
initiatives,
force.
Yes.
That's the
Very
one that
nice.
Annette Royden is chair?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
very nice, very nice.
The second announcement is also going to be in the newsletter. It's also upstairs. People can now sign up for the tag sale on September 10th from 10 to 4. It's just one day this time. And Emily and I are in charge of it.
And that's September what?
10th.
September 10th.
And there'll be the same thing as in the spring. There'll be, sign up, I think it's $10, but it's just one day. And there'll be a map that people can find where the locations are.
Yeah, and that's from 10 to 4,
Yes, on,
and,
that's a Saturday.
okay, and, it'd be nice to have extra maps, like for me, when, cause they were asking me, they were
Right.
right up underneath the underpass, and they were asking me
Yeah.
for things, so I was making some up, so,
Thank you.
copying them from, go ahead, Steve.
Just a quick question. I noticed the last time around, there were several sites that weren't on the map, which probably means they weren't signed up, but they had
Correct.
tag sales anyway.
Yes,
Do
and
you,
what
that to me is a, not a very nice thing to do, but, on the other hand, is there any, follow-up on that kind of thing?
yes,
Oh, good.
Emily
I'm glad to hear that.
Emily, last time, did not have a tag sale at her house. Her brother had one at her father's house. So Emily drove around.
I see.
This time, I'm not gonna have one, because I only got like 3 items. But, I'll probably do well, we'll both, it depends if she's gonna be on. But yes, there was, that day, she approached people like they did before in the village. If you didn't sign up, could you at least,
Help defray the costs.
you know, it was
right.
$10.
Right, right.
You know, I hope you made more than
Did you have
that.
any success, or did she have any success doing that?
I don't know,
You don't know.
probably.
But you know, the thing is that, people have a right to have a tag sale whenever, and, you know, yeah, I think it's rude that they jump on board, but a lot of people did that when this is why the townwide yard sale was, because, people would.
It was convenient.
Yeah, when the Vernon Village would have theirs,
Exactly.
then everybody else would have theirs because the free advertisement. But
Yeah.
if you are going to have a tag sale, it would be nice to join the group and,
Yeah,
yeah,
Pay your way.
pay your way, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And the last thing is that the newsletter will be coming out this Sunday evening. It's a little skinny right now, but I hope some people would put some stuff in. There'll be an announcement for this, and also Tim has an announcement, the town clerk has an announcement for the primary, and also the one-room schoolhouse reunion again, and the usual. But I'd like a little bit more.
Well, I thought of maybe starting up my Dear Miss Lily Pond again.
Oh, would you?
People would, we'll see.
And Michelle, I can drop your name, I hope, and say, she's thinking that it wouldn't be a bad idea if the highway department let us know when they were going to be doing where.
Oh, I think that would be an awesome idea, I
I
really
do
do.
too.
Mhm, yep.
So, let's all work on it. Thank you.
Let's all work together,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah. Thank you, Brana, very much. Anybody else? I'm moving on. Okay, forever hold your peace then. All right, treasurer, tax rate. Come on up, Cindy. I hope you wrote a motion out for us, right? No? Oh.
Well,
I
it's
know
got,
you did.
this thing kind of,
Oh,
Right there's your motion.
There.
Yeah, don't pay attention to that.
what?
Don't pay attention to
I
that.
just memorized it.
It's not the whole story.
Oh, all right.
That's only half the story.
Oh, it is, it's right here, the motion. and
thank you. Yes,
Excuse me.
yes, we have to do that
She's
because
on vacation.
every year we always make this
For you, so you
Minor.
have the motion.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, can you,
would you like me to read this to you?
I would love that.
I'm asking the board tonight to set the tax rate so we can get tax bills out hopefully this week or no later than next week. So the municipal tax rate would be 0.4728. Local agreement is 0.0015. The homestead tax rate, which is set by the state, is 1.2794. The non-residential tax rate is 1.2192. For a total homestead tax rate of 1.7537 and a total non-resident tax rate of 1.6935. This is approximately $185.20 more per $100,000 assessment for a homestead tax.
Say that again, 185?
$185.20 more per 100,000 of assessed value on a homestead.
What was the municipal tax rate last year? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, people will ask for that.
The municipal tax rate last year was 0.4059.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I move that we set the 2016-2017 tax rates as presented. And thank the treasurer and her staff for the hard work.
Second.
okay, any more discussion on this? I know, what can we discuss, right?
Not too much to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead if you need to.
It's just a question for clarification,
Sure.
help. I was gonna come in and ask you what my taxes were gonna be this year so I could plan. Um,
Well, now you know.
is it 1.7537 per $100 or what?
It's a per 100, it's for per thousand it's-
Oh.
You understand?
Oh, my assess rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I can figure that out now. Thank you.
Well, hopefully tax bills will be going out. I'm trying for this week, but definitely next week.
Yeah, you can explain the reason and why you're trying to get them out by next week at the latest.
Because the first tax payment is due September 8th, and they have to be out 30 days prior to. So, and there's no reason why we can't, we're just waiting to hear from Nemrick, who has to come down and set everything into our system. So once the rate's set, then he can come down.
Yep, yeah, I just wanted people to know that you have a certain deadline
Right.
per the state. Okay, motion's been, anybody else? Motion's been made and seconded to set the 2016-2017 tax rate as follows. Municipal tax rate at 0.4728. Local agreement at 0.0015. Homestead tax rate at 1.2794. Non-residential tax rate at 1.2192. Total homestead tax, 1.7537. Total non-residential tax rate, 1.6935. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I'd like to say, but anyway, the tax rate has been set.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you kindly. Thank you for
your
everything,
work.
Cindy, and your help.
You're welcome.
Oops, see, I'm doing that with papers again, stop.
That's why I keep mine all clipped
I
together.
know, I
and
should do
look like
that.
this.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Have a good night. All right, budget. Now, the reason why this is on here is not to discuss the budget because we have nothing yet. But I asked Michelle to put this on because I felt that she's going to start talking with the department heads about getting their tax, their budgets done and start working on them now. And I wondered if maybe the board would be interested in saying to each department head to maybe a percentage cut, you know, and give them something like that to start with, or to increase, I mean, it's, you
I
know.
think that's a wonderful idea.
I don't think one size fits all.
I don't either, but, I think that everybody needs to cut
I think we need to
this year.
start from
Yeah.
someplace, and then as our role as select board members to then make judgments about what goes and what doesn't. But I think
You
that the
should do
department
it.
heads should be given the opportunity, because they know their budget better than we do, to pitch in first and see what they can actually cut.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that giving them a number is a good idea. That's my belief.
Yeah, well, I
have
didn't know
seen
if,
that work in where I have worked for many years. I prepared budgets for years and years and years in the millions of dollars. And that does work across the board, because you feel that you're being treated equally amongst the other folks instead of being singled out. And I think that we need to start someplace, and I think we need to start from a position of fairness. And to me, that's fairness.
I would say that in the town clerk's office, some years you just have a town meeting to budget for. Some years, like this year, you have a town meeting, a school meeting,
but that's already been budgeted.
but.
And those, Sandy, are the extenuating circumstances that the
That they
select
can
board need to
bring,
go
yeah.
through and fix, but
But I think if we say, we would like to see if you can cut your budget by 1 or 2 or 5%, whatever.
sure.
But
Please sign in when you come.
noting that we understand that you may have an extenuating circumstance and write it down,
Yes,
rather than expecting them to do that, because that would not be good.
well, this is my opinion, I'm not trying to, you know, sway you guys at all, but my opinion is that everybody needs to cut. I get that that the town clerk, you know, has this. I mean, even the town treasurer came in and they were like even under, they cut themselves down a little bit last year. I mean, they helped, but, you know, somewhere there's something extra somewhere that they have to find, because we cannot keep going like this and take it to the
I
people
agree
and
with
say, you know, I mean, like Steve said, I think that when they, if say we say, okay, cut your budget, come in with a 3% or a 5% cut, say, something like that, that's just figures out of my mouth. And then they come, and then, as Steve said, you know, write down wait a minute, we can't possibly cut this area, we've taken it from here, but, you know, I get that, I think that's the way to go, but I'm only one. So what's everybody else's pleasure? I heard his, what do you mean you don't think it's, what, your department is different? How?
Every department is different.
Well, I know that.
Everybody's requirements, everybody's staffing is completely different, so that's the only reason. I don't care if we start with a number, because a number really doesn't mean anything, because somebody can come in at 10% under, or somebody can come in 10% over, regardless of what we ask them for. If they have a reason behind it, then we need to wade through that reason and go
Absolutely.
from there.
Well, that's what I
But
said, that's
then
what I
that-
said to do.
And if that's what we're doing, then that's
But
fine.
give them a target to work
Yes.
towards, because just saying, oh, give us your best number, I don't think is a good way to go. It leaves the thing too far open-ended, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because if you're gonna speak, come stand here and I'll get to you in a minute. Thanks, Munson. If you, we can't keep going at the rate we're going. I agree that, some circumstances will have to be looked at differently than others.
You know better than anyone that I am wanting to cut this
I
budget
know that.
more than we did last year, and it disgusts me that we're gonna have a $400, basically on average, a $400 increase in our taxes based on what we did last year at town meeting. It's not good, and we
Right.
can't keep going that way.
No,
So if we wanna set, you know, a number that is
Yeah.
a starting point, and we can work from there with each
Yeah.
individual
We gotta
department, that's
stop-
fine, I don't,
we gotta stop giving wants, do you know what I mean? And really look at the need, I think, and find the difference. Go ahead, Munson.
Yeah, I would just remind the select board that not only did the town accept the budget, but also accepted the ratio of what is allocated to what things. The town has decided that that's the ratio that they're comfortable with. So it makes sense, if the town is comfortable with that ratio, that if you need to cut, that the cut should be along those lines.
Go ahead, Steve.
What do you mean by ratio? Do you mean the percentage between departments? All right, but I
We already
think it's
said
very
we're comfortable
important to
with that.
understand that what we had in town last year may not, and probably will not, be identical to what we've got next year.
Yes, and let us not forget that we've just signed an agreement with a tax agreement with Entergy that's going to start dropping.
No,
They're not,
all I'm just
you know-
saying is that the town not only accepted the total budget, but the town accepted, voted on, we want to give X percent to this department, X percent to this department, X percent to this department. So as Steve is quite rightly saying, give those departments the instructions, we want to cut it by X percent across the board, and then go from there. I'm just saying that we decided not only.
And I understand that,
Yeah.
but the thing that's important to understand too is that changes from year to year. The
does.
town has,
Right.
the townspeople have historically not always come up with that same percentage ratio.
No, I agree, but as
So
of last
we need
year,
to be,
that's what
and
we
we,
said.
and the
Well,
other
last
thing too is,
year's
we
done,
are,
separate.
we're elected here as select board members to make hard decisions, to look into things closely, and to make sure that we are not putting the townspeople, and I would make sure that the least common, we used to call it least common denominator, but we need to make sure that the most affected by taxes among us are not put out of their home.
I
That's
just want
my
to
goal.
clarify that I'm actually agreeing with you.
I know you are.
As
Yes.
a
Who-
way of
Who
approaching this.
wouldn't? I don't
Anyway,
know.
I'm just
Yeah,
reiterating
I'm
that
just-
the town has
laughing so
actually
loud.
had an input on this.
They did, yes, and you know, Munson, they will have another input come March. And we've always seen town meetings, a big surprise sometimes,
Yeah, I think we're headed for one
in
this
that
year,
ratio.
for sure.
But we as the
Some
select board
departments are
members, I
gonna
think,
think.
have to do our work up front.
I don't disagree.
And it's not easy, it's not easy telling someone, you're gonna have to cut back on your laundry service, or you're gonna have to cut back on the TV that you have in the fire station, or you're gonna have to cut back on this, because these are all things that
Yeah, these are
we have to
wants.
look at as,
Not
are
needs.
they essential?
Right.
Is it essential to have Comcast in the fire department, or in the town highway department? Is it really? I don't know, we'll have to ask that question.
Okay, just a
Speaking of
minute.
that, I was looking at the bills and warrants.
Yes,
And did you see one for the police department?
Yes.
Still for the Comcast?
yes,
I don't
Yes.
understand that bill at all.
I don't either, yeah.
Well, that's one that we should be asking, our administrator to be talking with Cindy about. What do you think?
Okay, that's what we came with.
Okay.
Comcast?
No, I haven't asked you that one yet.
Oh, I was just saying, that's a new one.
I just keep asking, I said I asked you to do three.
Go ahead, Bronna.
Oh,
Now we're playing.
Just for the heck of it, about a couple of weeks ago, I just said, okay. I sat down, in about 15 minutes, I figured out, taking the book, the last year's book from the town meeting, before we voted on anything, and just 10% across the board, including the library, which I'm on the board. And it came to over $200,000,
Right.
which brought the budget down to below 2 million, which is where it is currently. I like what you're saying about fairness. I think, in my view, my opinion, I'm not on the board, you guys gotta decide. I think you just say I think what you said, if I heard you right, Chris, say to them, give a number to each department and let them do a lot of your work for you initially. And just say, okay, cut 3%, 5%, and just come back, and it's their jobs to do it. Why do you need to go through what you did last year?
Well, we have to, anyway, we
But
still
not
would
that
have to
much.
go and
Well,
look through each
You do have to
person's
go,
budget.
I think you have to go through each item carefully.
Yes.
But I do believe that the place to start that process is with the department heads. Because, as I said, they know their budgets far better than we do.
Yeah, and I also agree with Josh where he says there are gonna be circumstances where you
Yeah,
can't cut
that's
here.
true,
They're
too.
gonna have to come in and explain to us why otherwise.
A good example of an upcoming thing could be what we just saw here at 5 o'clock this evening.
Yes.
God knows what that's going to cost.
Can I propose a number, because we're gonna talk about budgets for like 3 months, so I don't wanna do it anymore tonight.
I don't either.
6% across the board.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'll second it.
And, by the way, I haven't had a television for over 40 years, and my kids grew up without it. It works.
Well,
I
I don't
wanted
mean it at
to
the
find out
places.
the increase from 15 to 16 in the tax rate. What was that percentage on the municipal side?
Right there.
oh
I
my.
don't know, but it was.
I know
Okay,
that's
it's
the, what is the
0.405.
percentage?
Yeah, last year was,
4059.
Is
right,
that
and-
16%?
I think it's almost, then this year is point, can somebody figure that out, please?
I
Anybody have
came
a
up with-
calculator?
I came up with 16%, but
All
I
right.
wanted someone else to
It's
verify that.
.4059. Last year's and this year, or, this year that we're in,
15,
15, 16.
And
And then for 16, 17, it's
it's-
.4728.
It's the difference of .0669.
Oh, six,
Oh, is
six,
this- so it's
nine,
6%.
about a 6% increase. Wow.
Makes sense.
So there you go.
Wow.
You do that on
Ooh,
purpose,
you-
right,
you-
John?
Are you psychic?
Well, I just wanted to
Something.
find out because
Could you
to
read my
me,
poem,
to
please?
me, that's a good anchor. Or at least
Okay.
a starting,
Right.
Yeah,
you know, and then we can branch from there as things move along.
I agree.
And there may be some things that warrant more and some that warrant less.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Okay,
So what was your number again?
6%.
See, you must have done the mental math.
Sandy moved it?
No, he did.
He did.
I
He
moved
did.
it, you
She
seconded.
seconded it. Okay, any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor of a 6% overall for each department cut in their budget. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Can I amend that? Because you just kinda,
What'd I
we
do?
said two different things.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because you said a 6% cut, but you had, somebody made kind of an amendment to that saying that if you can't do that for some reason, you have to bring it in and explain to us why.
Right, they have to justify anything.
Okay, you want that added?
Justify anything less than
Well,
6%.
we're gonna be talking to them, and of course, we set the final budget,
Right.
you know.
I realize that, but you're making
Okay.
a motion to do a
All right.
6% decrease across the
All right.
board, period.
I see what you're saying.
Let's take that let's take that motion back. So rescind your motion, no,
Second.
okay, your second, who made the motion? You did,
Josh.
you rescind it. You rescind your second, done, okay? Or let's vote that out, whatever.
We don't even really need to vote on it, do we? I mean, when she sends
Yeah.
the, when we.
I
That's what
think
you're
it needs,
asking.
yeah, I
I think
think
it'd be a
it
good
warrants
idea.
a vote.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So your motion would then be, for,
We're looking for a 6% decrease on all department budgets
all department budgets.
with an explanation needed if you can't get to that 6%.
I said,
And I will second that.
well, I'm not gonna vote for that then, because I think that it should be a 6%, they come in at a 6%. And then if we decide that we can't possibly, that part can be added on at another time. You know what I mean? We can say, we could have Michelle say, they voted to cut 6%, period. If you can't, then she will write, she would say to them individually or whatever.
I see
we
what
can-
you're saying, Chris.
Yeah, I think
guess that's
that
why I
we
like the
cut
first
the
motion better.
Yes, we cut the 6%, let them cut the 6%.
That's a number that they can work with.
Yeah, and then
I don't
if they,
care what we do, let's just do something.
okay,
So
I'm
just
in
so I
favor
can
of your
clarify,
first
what
motion.
you would like, Chris, is for the department heads to come here with the 6% and say, this is what we're giving up and getting rid of to get to that 6%.
right,
Are you willing to live with
yes.
those?
I mean, if they,
Okay,
and then,
just so I
you know,
can give
that's
them-
something you can say to them at another time, that they certainly are more than welcome to come back to us, because that's what we agreed with, and say to us, well, you know, I really need this or that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then we will determine at that time if we wanna give them a little bit more,
Okay.
okay?
Or less.
Or less.
Because I think that all aspects of the budget should be discussable at these meetings. There's nothing-
Absolutely.
No sacred sections of anybody's budget when we're in a situation like this that we are here in town now.
Yeah. Is that acceptable?
The way we just explained it is all smoke and mirrors at this point anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We can say 6%,
Okay.
and we're gonna do whatever we need to do when the time comes.
Sounds great.
That's from
All right.
what everybody's saying.
All right.
Yeah, true.
Okay, you gonna second that one?
Whatever.
Yes or no, not a whatever?
I'm not.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Okay. All right, motion's been made and seconded to ask each department to come back to us with a 6% decrease
In their budget.
in their budgets
For 17, 18.
for 16,
No,
17.
No, 17,
17,
18.
17, 18, right.
Right.
Yeah. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No.
And so we have 3 ayes. I need to poll the board. So I need your, Steve, your vote is?
Aye.
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 No.
So 3 ayes, 1 no. Now, can you explain to us why? Just because we didn't put that extra in there?
I think that it wouldn't have hurt to put it in there. It just smacks like, you're gonna do this or not.
I think they should. I mean, they need to know that we have, this is
I
serious
think they
business.
need to, I think they know that, I think they will know that, but I also think that some of them are bound by state things that they cannot adjust.
And then there are things that they're not bound by state
That's right.
things, and they
Right.
can adjust. And you saw it in the budget package
Oh, I
tonight,
did.
just like I did.
I did,
And I've been seeing it now since I started doing this, and it's,
but that's not all departments.
I'm just saying, that's where the money's going.
So that's why I said no.
Well, there may be some departments that don't have that latitude, and
Right.
I'm fine with that. But I think that we need a starting point, and that is the starting point.
It's a good starting point, but it
Yeah, it
was
is.
a little too
But-
dictatorial.
Well, we have to be that way.
You asked my opinion.
Right.
And
No,
thank
and I,
you for
and
it.
I do thank you for it.
Because I think it's important to everyone to voice their opinions. about
Yes,
it.
and I do agree with Josh that we will make adjustments up or down, dependent on each department. So, okay, moving on, done with that. Let's see, approval of minutes, please.
We have 2 packages, Steve.
Go ahead while I'm looking.
I'm on the list to get the minutes sent out to me, and I just did my proofreader eyes on this one, which I didn't turn into Michelle, because she had had enough. And I had a couple of questions, and just for going forward, first of all, do you want me to do that? But that's, if you don't need me to, that's fine. I wasn't aware that Mark Snow was at that July 5th meeting. So that was one question, and I remember having. The other was how you all want to be referred to. Do you want to be, like for you, Chris, do you want to be Christiane Howe, or do you want to be Chris Howe? Do you want to be see, because Josh is Josh, but he's not Joshua. And Steve is Stephen, but not Steve. I just don't know, it's consistent throughout, but I just want to know how you want to be.
Well, I think that would be up to the recording person, as long as it isn't my last name. I cannot stand to be called Hal made a motion. I don't like that. You know, whether I'm Chris, that's what everybody calls me. My family calls me Christy. I have several names, and people that don't know me call me Christine, which I can't stand. So, I mean, Christian Howe, Christy Howe, or Chris Howe, I don't care. One way or the other. I think it's up to the recording clerk. Go ahead. But thank you.
And the only thing that really needs to be in here, and I think you're doing a great job, the only thing is who's here, motions made and seconded. It's not something that needs to be
Right.
legalese.
Well, the thing is that I still think that we should have some coverage of discussions, because
Yeah, I'm
that
not
is
saying
very
that.
important.
I'm saying
But
that we
you
don't
are,
want to.
no, I'm just saying, I think you are correct, they only really need
Right.
motions
So
in
what we
here,
have
but,
is wonderful.
yes. And, what does the rest of the board
Well,
feel
as
about
far
the
as
names?
my name, Steve is fine, I've even been called Skibby, so, there's, Skib, it doesn't matter to me.
Josh?
I don't care.
There's other inconsistency. My Quartermanche is called Quartermanche, but then later on, when you discuss Sac Road, David Walker is called David.
Well, at first,
I
see, I
think-
think that, it does say, Michael Quartermanche discussed blah, 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 and then in the same paragraph, it says Quartermanche. I think that that's perfectly fine within there. I think the only problem is, if there is a problem at all, which I don't think there is, but is when the motions are made. And I think that, that is entirely up to the record keeper. However, I think probably, the full names should be there.
I also think the part in the discussion on page 2 where Josh said he was disgusted and stuff like that is not appropriate for, I think it's more what Sandy said, our reactions and things like that are not really appropriate to be reported. It's on the third paragraph down.
Yeah, I see that.
You may like it, Josh, I don't care, but I personally think it's
It
not.
doesn't bother me for it to be in the.
I think it's not professional to have it. I've done minutes for the library board. I've also done them for an organization that has 3.2 million members. And, the National Education Association, and things like that are not professional.
If I might just, and I understand what you're saying, in the days before this camera, you could in fact smooth things out that way. But that camera now changes all that dynamic here, I think it does.
Yeah, it does, and
So
sometimes
that-
we look like jerks and
Well, I know
we're the
that,
laughing stock
and
of the
that's
whole
the
area.
hazard in having a live video shot of a meeting, but you can't really change that anymore. It's, all the dirty laundry's out in public now.
But I
And so
don't think, at some point, that camera, that stuff is not gonna be on. As you know, technology has changed over the time. You cannot look at tape decks anymore. So that, and it's not.
But I have to tell you, we have to record, if she's recorded this as this is, we have to, well, it was recorded of what we said. I think that, I've lost my train of thought.
Well, I think what you're
I
trying
know
to
I was
say.
trying to
if
say
I could-
something.
If I could say that, the secretary is trying to capture a summary of what people
Yes,
say.
exactly.
Josh says he doesn't mind the word disgusted because apparently that's what he was. That's language that I'm sure he communicated to the camera one way or the other.
Right.
That is now goes online and anyone can go in and read it and capture that video moment and store it in their file forever. And that's permanent. That's as permanent as this piece of paper. And,
Well, it's up
so
to
that's
you.
my feeling. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is what that will do for us
Yeah.
though, and I agree with you about that maybe it doesn't sound
Right.
great, but what it will do is it'll caution us to choose our words more carefully,
Thank you.
okay?
All right, I'll
And,
accept that.
and, no, I oftentimes will start a sentence here and then say, but then there's times when I say, you know what, I want to express that the way I felt like expressing it. So it's a double-edged sword. You
Yeah,
get
it's
the
kind of
positives and the
catch-22.
negatives with it.
Josh?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of July 5th as written.
Second.
Any more discussion?
I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah. All
There's
three of us were, yeah, okay.
You're good.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to accept the minutes of July 5th as written. All those in favor, signify
Aye.
by saying aye.
Aye.
Any?
Abstain.
Yeah, one abstention. Okay, thank you, Bronna, for your comments.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, July 14th, you were not here, Josh.
No, man.
I think these are, I'd like to make a motion to accept them as written with the inclusion of approved as, the
Yeah,
approved as written and approved as corrected at the
yeah,
top.
this
Yeah,
has to be the same
Go ahead.
every time.
just because it's easier for us.
Yeah. Okay, somebody second that, did they?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion on these?
You wanna put minutes after Michelle, like you did on the July 5th?
Yeah, she's, yeah, we just talked about that, so it's gonna be as corrected.
No, I meant, you have her on July, the first one, you have.
Yes, I say,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't explain myself. Yeah, it's all
I'm a
gonna be.
curmudgeon, I'm sorry, I am a curmudgeon, I got my certificate as a publication specialist from George Washington University, and,
Well, I got my degree, which really isn't a degree, as a proofreader when I was 15 years old, worked for Book Press as a proofreader. And that's not to take away from, you know, your proofreading abilities, because I know they're good. So, motion's been made and seconded to accept these as corrected, right? Right, I mean, am I correct? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and
Abstain.
and one abstention. I guess mine was the School of Hard Knocks, I guess, that's what they were called, right?
You probably got a bachelor's degree in that, or maybe an advanced degree.
I didn't get nothing. I got fired after a while. That's what I got. I didn't really. I'm just kidding. We all set to move on, Sandy? Okay. All right, bills and warrants.
Oh, bills and
Mr.
warrants, yes.
Skidnowski.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
hang on, let me find my little piece of paper.
I gotta find mine too.
With my
There
stuff
it is.
written on it. Here it is. Madam Chair, I move to approve and pay the following bills and warrants. First one, warrant 2-T, accounts payable in the amount of $276,378.48. And then 3 payrolls for the weeks 27, 28, and 29. 27 payroll, 27-week payroll, $16,034.16. Week 28 payroll, $11,653.30. And week 29 payroll, $13,194.52.
Second.
And Madam Chair, if I
Yes.
might expand on the amount, there, a large chunk of the accounts payable is $158,000 for the paving through lane construction.
Right,
That's what bubbled that up.
okay, thank you.
As far as the others, you can see they're fairly standard.
Yeah.
For
Do you
summer,
know what
keep in mind that-
2T means? I've never seen that.
There's a voting there.
Well, I think it changes, see, the week numbers are the
Well,
last
yeah,
three.
it's not-
But
it's not-
2T is the first week of the new year, starting in July, isn't it?
Okay,
Or
but
2T.
normally,
I know, it was always different.
yeah,
It's a different
yeah,
number.
okay, it's just, yeah.
That's what I.
Just was
I-
different before, so I just
Right.
wondered what the meaning
Yes.
was. Okay, motion's been made and seconded to sign and pay warrants, 2T, accounts payable, in the amount of $276,378, $276,378.48. 27S payroll, $16,034.16. 28S payroll, $11,653.30. 29S payroll, $13,194.52. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. No opposed. Okay, headed right along. Rebecca Chalmers, please come up to the table. Introduce yourselves, and then I will have the board
Please,
introduce
yes.
themselves. Thank you for coming.
This is Laura LaPierre, the Wetland Program Manager, and my supervisor. I'm Rebecca Chalmers, a District Wetland Ecologist for the state of Vermont.
Thank you for coming.
And I'm Steve Skibniowski. I'm the newest elected select board member in from March of this year.
I'm Josh Unruh.
I'm Christiane Howe,
Sandy Harris.
and then we have Michelle and Michelle.
Yes.
So please,
Yeah.
tell us what brings you here.
Yes, well, thank you for having us today. Again, my name is Laura LaPierre, Wetlands Program Manager, and we are responsible for protecting Vermont's wetlands that have significant function and value. Our job is to research and monitor and educate the public about Vermont wetlands. And a big part of our job is to protect significant wetlands, and that's what we're here today to discuss. And first, I'd like to just give you a little bit more background about our program, how we came to the table today with the Class 1 designation. And Rebecca's going to give you a bit more details about the black gum swamps. And then I'd like to just talk a bit more about what a Class 1 designation would mean, because there are some regulatory implications for that. And so we want to make the town aware of this and also see what the town thinks about potentially supporting such a proposal. So, like I said before, wetlands are protected under the Vermont wetland rules. They have been since 1990, and the black gum swamps have been protected all that time. And they're considered Class 2 because they're significant wetlands. So any wetland which has a significant function or value, or multiple functions and values, are considered protected by the state. So that could be water quality protection, water storage, rare, threatened, and endangered plants, wildlife habitat, erosion control, unique natural communities, and also can be used for research, have very high aesthetic value, or really great for recreation as well. So these wetlands are considered Class 2. There are 3 in the town and 1 that borders fish and wildlife land, but is also partially on town lands. And they currently have a 50-foot buffer zone that's regulated. And so any activities that occur within the wetlands or within the buffer would require a permit unless it's considered an allowed use. Some of those allowed uses means just using current infrastructure that's already there to sustainable silvicultural practices. So Class 1 is a bit different. Class 1 wetlands are exemplarily or irreplaceable in function and value. Right now, we only have 3 wetlands in the state that are considered Class 1 because it goes through a petition process which needs to go to the legislature and cause a rule change in order for them to be designated. So it hasn't happened very often. And in 2012, the Wetlands Program became able to review petitions and also suggest Class 1 designations as well. So in 2013, we reviewed 20 or so wetlands throughout the state, and the black gum swamps really rose to the top. And we are proposing right now for, they haven't gone to file yet to ICAR for any rule changes right now, where before that, this is really lots of pre-rulemaking. And there are 4 wetlands which we are proposing to move forward, and this is one of them. And I think that it's very interesting to note, Vernon's really been a great steward of the black gum swamps and has designated in the town plan, I have the 2013 one right here, that considers the black gum swamps fragile areas, which uses some of the same language as the wetland rules does, where it calls it irreplaceable to Vermont's natural heritage. And it describes diversity of natural communities, rare and endangered plants and animals are there, and that it's used for educational and social value. And then there are some policies where the fragile areas limit vehicle access and also prohibit any tree cutting within a 300-foot radius. So what we're proposing with Class 1 wetlands are exemplary or irreplaceable in their function and value for Vermont natural heritage. And for these wetlands, we also can designate the size of the buffer zone. And for this one, we're proposing a 300-foot buffer, which is exactly the same size as the town has decided upon. And Class 1 wetlands can only be impacted if there is a compelling public health or safety need. The buffer is a protective zone, a larger protective zone, so that it's an area that we would review if there were any activities to occur within those areas. My understanding is right now there's just hiking trails and some logging roads in that area. It wouldn't mean you'd have to take the roads out, but it would mean that you wouldn't be widening them or creating more roads in those areas. So Rebecca has some handouts on what the allowed uses are, which include recreation, maintaining existing structures, and things like that that we can give to you guys to look at and consider. I see you guys have the petition and some of the brochures which we had put together, and I hope that
Do you have
You've
enough
had
for
a
all
time
of
to
us,
look
or
at
are you just have a few?
It
Oh,
looks
sorry,
like-
we only have a couple.
Of that one. But
Oh,
then
you
we
two
have
look at
best
that.
management. We have a lot of these though. Best management.
I noticed on
Yeah.
your
Never mind.
documents that you have, there's a class 1 wetlands. Is this proposed class 1 then?
Yes.
Okay, so, and you have a 300-foot radius for the buffer zone. And looking at the map, that would be no more logging, obviously,
Right.
Is that, am I,
So there are activities within buffers that require permit and other ones which are considered exempt or what's called an allowed use. And silviculture is considered an allowed use so long as there's a plan that's approved by Forest Parks and Recreation, and as long as it's strictly for silviculture, not to clear, harvest the wood, and then put in a shopping mall or anything
I
like
have no
that.
problem with your, this is amazing.
Copy.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to
More
make sure.
hours, you can pass that
Oh, all right, okay.
So when it's
Yes, no,
designated before the legislature, if the legislature approves this designation,
Pictures.
Yeah.
do they therefore, is it like a pilot program? Do they give the town money for allowing it to be designated, or are there any monetary benefits to the town?
No,
Okay.
there are none.
Just checking.
No, but like I said, there's only 3
That's the
right now in the
Yeah.
state, and
That's the
we're
scene.
proposing 4 more, so
I think it's great.
it's a very small number currently, and we really we would really like to use black gum swamps as an example for the rest of the state, because there isn't much known about what class 1 designation means.
Right.
And we want folks to be able to see what really meets the standards of class 1. And the black gum swamps, which Rebecca, you can talk in a little bit more detail about the black gums in particular, but they're a really great example of class 1s.
I had the privilege of hiking that with Maynard Miller. It's under J. Maynard Miller Forest. Yeah, it needs to be class 1.
We're sending some photos around that show that some of these black gum swamps,
No, go ahead, speak. He'll come after. Go
some
ahead.
of the black gum
trees are 400 years old. They're true old growth, which is amazing.
Pre-Columbian.
And occasionally the old ones will tip over, donk, and then you'll see in some of these pictures, then the branches start growing up. They don't die, they just kind of, I mean, they die eventually, but they just keep on growing and growing. And so it makes a really amazing community. And when I first went in there, I was like, this is so magical. It just
Yes, it is.
green and lush, and then their tree bark is really nubbly and
Yeah.
deep. It's really
It's
unusual.
weird.
Mhm.
Smooth on one side and deep on the other.
Oh, I missed that. Some of
Yeah,
them?
Some of them are
Yes.
smooth on one side and like really
Smooth
deep
on
on
one
the
side.
edges.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unique. Nowhere else in Vermont has like a cluster of high quality black gums like this. This is it. And then Vernon has this magical, cluster of them on your town land and on the state
Yeah,
wildlife
'cause
management area a little bit.
there's no reason for these to be here at all, because they really don't, they're a tropical tree. And why they're here, no one knows, but they're beautiful. If anybody ever gets a chance to go up there, they should go up. It's
Aren't you
gorgeous.
some down behind your house?
What's that?
Aren't you some black gum down behind your house?
I'm not saying. No, I don't, I'm not aware of that, but we do have red oaks,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which are also
I've
from.
I've heard
yeah.
it from old timers years ago tell me there was
Aren't they amazing?
some other ones in town.
Well,
Have you been up there?
I do get, I talked with,
It's
we
in the
did a lot of
Birch.
research
Fox.
to try to make sure these really were unique. I was talking with
Otherwise you'd walk
Tom
right up to
Wessels,
the-
he wrote in
Yeah.
one of his
Without
books,
even-
he was the professor at Antioch, and he said,
Could be
yes, I
frightening.
see a few here and there elsewhere, but this is the stronghold.
right.
So how do you know how old they are?
Well, personally, I don't, I'm taking the word of the foresters on that.
Yeah.
And the Natural Heritage Program as well, they're the real experts on rare, plants. And they presented some reports about them. So what my job was to do is to help gather some of these reports by the other experts, the foresters, the rare plant experts in natural heritage. And say, what we found is it's a representative example. It's based on size, condition, quality, and function. These wetlands represent a reference condition for this wetland type, and therefore they're exceptional. It's also rare. These types of wetlands are unique, uncommon, and slow forming, and therefore irreplaceable. And there are also rare, threatened, endangered species. There are a number of different ferns and shrubs and that were rare, threatened, endangered. And then we also had a couple other, 2 different checklists that we went through, so that provides a more scientific, consistent way to evaluate wetlands. And these are the top 10, 20, this wetland complex in the top 10 or 20 in the whole state. And we're comparing, it's in the same group as one that's, the Missisquoi is recognized internationally, but we're considering these the absolute gems of Vermont. And so therefore, it's our job to recognize them and offer to you that here's another opportunity to help acknowledge them, let people know about them. So I guess that's the only monetary thing I can think of, is people will know about it. And they'll say, oh, maybe I'll take that day trip to Vermont down in the Vernon corner and go in and check these out.
Okay to pass these around to the people
Yeah, that's
out.
for sharing.
And take a break and let,
Yeah, I was just going to slightly correct Sandy about,
We
and
pass
what you
them on
said
to the people.
is that if we're in town talking about trying to revitalize the town, one excellent part we've been talking about is tourism. And the Black Gum is certainly a unique place. I am fortunate enough to have a wetland on my property that has 3 or 4 of them up on Tyler Hill Road.
oh, I didn't know you had some too.
That,
Wow.
yeah, that they're not in as good shape as those. And I have preliminarily begun talking through the Winter Planning Commission about finding out if it's possible to cede them to the town or to the state. You know, it's 10 acres of land close to, on my property, but close to Jeff and Nancy's. And so I, as part of the Winter Planning Commission and as part of the town, I heartily endorse the moving of this unique place to Class 1 and furthering the town.
I did too.
Thank you, Munson.
I tend to worry about people stomping all over there though.
Yeah, me too. You open it up and you do
Well,
this
I
and
don't know
then, you
that
know, for
designating
tourists
this
No, I'm just saying.
should
it's tourists.
lead to, hopefully it won't lead to damage that way.
Yeah, see,
But
that,
I guess that would be one drawback in designating something more obvious.
isn't that why
there-
they had to do, Yellowstone? They had to stop people from going
Yes, yeah.
and designate where they walked and stuff like that, because
Yes.
people, you know, they, all of a
Destroying
sudden
it.
tourists came in and
I
started
don't,
destroying.
hopefully we won't get to that level. Are there any other drawbacks besides that you can think of in the town going forward and supporting this class 1 designation?
No, I can't think of anything. I can tell you that 2 of our class 1 wetlands have been class 1, since the early 90s, and we haven't seen any issues with folks, trampling around in them or anything like that.
That's good to know.
Are there nature paths through the forest?
Yes.
There's the map up there too.
Yeah, the easiest actually access is from I-91, you go to their, well, you go to their parking spot and you go up through that way, it's easy. I was just telling Josh, because if you go through the Basin Road up through that way, because I used to walk out that way, and the first time I did it, we came right to the, you know, drop off there, and so it can be frightening if you're not careful. But, yeah, it's beautiful up there.
Does the state help it at all in maintaining the designated areas?
It becomes quite a bad job duty to make sure that that part of the law is enforced, so. I would think mostly to that degree, not the maintaining part, but the
Well, oversight.
oversight,
you know.
another.
It's beautiful out there, it truly
Yeah,
is.
oversight
Nice
is
picnic
always
area.
good.
It is.
The more eyes, the better.
Eagle Scout too.
Yeah, well, I don't know about picnic area.
So, Madam Chair, are we looking for a motion, although I see Brown is here, so perhaps.
Seth
Yes.
Dio,
Dio?
maintains it. He maintains the trails up in that area. So, and Paul and Mary Miller also are up there.
Yes, there.
Paul leads, and the forester has led, nature hikes up there. There is, as a part of the Vermont Council on Rural Development's task force, there is a task force that it has been formed to address the trails, the use of the trails and maintenance of them, and recreation and usage. And it's, I think it would be they would probably support upgrading it to class 1. I think it needs to be protected,
Oh, I definitely think so too.
cherished, honored.
I don't think that, thank you, Brown. I don't know about having a task force up there.
Right.
I don't like that idea at all.
Madam Chair, I guess Brana raises an interesting point in terms of these folks who are currently maintaining the area.
Yeah, that's just
Are-
Seth, that's our rec board.
Well, yeah, maybe
I
she
think
mentioned Paul and Mary Miller and.
Yes.
Are there guidelines that change for maintaining things like walking trails through that would go, when you go in the current situation versus class 1? Are we talking about changes in those kinds of maintenance guidelines that we should be aware of?
No, the
No.
existing infrastructure that's there can stay there. If it becomes abandoned and grows back into a forested area, and that would be effectively a restored portion that would require a permit for you to go in and clear it.
Right.
So anything that's existing is
It's maintained as wilderness. That's the way Paul wants it.
Right, well, when you mentioned Forester, that's the thing
He
that.
does take a walk.
What's that?
He led a walk
All right,
through
okay,
there.
because I know that forestry has moved from one point to another over the years, and what foresters used to do and what they do now, I think there's been some evolution, to put it gently. And so I would want to make sure that whatever was done up there was in conformance with the, not only
Yeah.
the current standard for class one, but anything that you come up with in the future.
Yeah, and I don't think that anybody else needs to go up than what's already being done.
Well, yeah.
So you were gonna say something, you were gonna make a
Well,
motion?
I was going to ask if what the chair is looking for is a motion at this point, or are you just having open this as a discussion area, or how, what do we?
You want, that is exactly what you want from us, am I correct? That you want
That's-
us to, classify this as,
Well,
upgrade it to a class one wetland?
I think it's to seek, for them to seek approval of this through the legislature as a class one wetland.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so it would be
I
a
see what
motion
you're saying, yeah.
to support
Yes.
a petition to
Yes.
the legislature. We are, just to give you an idea of our timeline, we're hoping to get into the fall session for administrative rule changes, which would mean we would need to file our petition by August 29th. And if anybody would like to submit a letter of support to go along with that petition, we're just asking that that be sent to our office by August 19th, so we have some time to put the package
Right.
together.
I think depending on the outcome of any action the select board takes this evening, I'm sure that the select board would want to lend their voice to
Yes, we
to
could.
supporting that.
Yeah, we should have, our, town administrator write them a letter, is that what you?
Well, if
showing
we
our
have a
support
motion
is what-
that
Yes,
passes,
absolutely.
I think.
Yes, I saw her.
Oh, all right.
The select board
Well,
speaks first.
I didn't
And-
want to jump to a motion if there was other information that should be shared, so I didn't know whether.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, Maura.
When you say anybody, you're saying you want the select board to submit these letters, or do you want, like, I think, if we had a letter.
I think they said anybody, correct?
You mean like,
So
like
you,
ordinary people?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you certainly can, and this is just the beginning of the process too, so once it gets filed, and is officially accepted, there's going to be a public comment period and also more public meetings taking place, so there will be other opportunities for.
Do you have that, do you have a timeline written down? Do you have a draft letter that you would suggest? I would be willing to put it in the newsletter. The newsletter comes out this Sunday
Mhm.
for the month of August. I think we need to get it out to people. I'm sure the trailbreakers, and I'm sure the Millers would be interested in writing letters. I would be
I would
interested.
absolutely agree with you, definitely.
I'd like that language. Do you have
Yeah.
draft language or all suggested language?
We
Or-
could certainly suggest some language if you could give us your contact info,
will.
we
Okay.
can do that. As for timeline, all we have right now is the August 29th filing, and a public meeting would take place sometime in late September or October.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
move that the Vernon Select Board support the state's wish to classify the Black Gum wetlands as a Class 1 wetlands, as presented here at this presentation by these folks this evening.
I second.
I hope you got that all, because I am not repeating it.
Well, I think, yes, if you need some fill-in, I can try to.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. To
Essentially,
support-
to support that the select board take a position to support the state's wish to classify the Black Gum wetlands as a Class 1 wetlands, and all that that entails in the legislative and regulatory arena.
Okay, motion, any more discussion on this?
The only thing I would say is that, given that if the existing trails can stay within this classification, and we're starting to have some overgrowth now that may be considered as overgrowth, and we wanna keep it open as a recreation area, that before it gets too far within the state, that the people that maintain the swamp take care of those trails prior to that classification, so we don't run into an issue where we have no access to recreation within the swamp.
I concur with that.
Can I ask a question? Just
Sure,
I'm not
please.
a select board member, but I just have a
Please
feeling
do.
I'm gonna get this question in the office. And you all would know this better, are there any vast trails on this area?
I hope not.
I I would hope not.
I don't think so. But select board in the past would always lock the gate
Yes.
and,
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
Okay,
there,
so then
there is
the
a gate
moot
that
point-
gets locked through the winter.
Place.
Okay, okay,
This
just wanted
wouldn't
to
be a
make sure.
place that you'd want any motorized
Okay.
No,
vehicles.
absolutely not.
snowmobiles,
And
or-
I think that the
We
town
would be-
forest has been shut off with, ATVs and all that stuff, right? Yeah, I think we did that a few
I
years
just wanted to
back.
make sure.
Yes, I
And-
don't see this as changing that designation at all, and certainly the value of these comes far outweighs that little bit of land that would be affected, even if it were affected.
I just
Right.
wanted to make sure there wasn't any screening snow.
Well, yeah, I understand.
Because obviously there would
No,
be
that's
motorized.
been shut off to them
And then
a
one
long
last
time
question,
ago.
do I send a letter from the select board? Yes, okay, so I'll track you all down for signatures, and that's gonna go to Laura, it's a good address to you? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Thank
Did you
you.
get your pictures back?
Yes, they're here
You can keep them
somewhere.
if you want.
Oh, well,
Yeah, they're out there, I think.
Oh, great.
if you want.
Maybe you should-
They're beautiful. And
If-
thank
if
you so much.
If you want to leave them here, you could leave them with our
Yeah, yeah.
recording secretary, and we could enter them as part of the minutes,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
if you want to. Because I think they're very informative.
Mine, yeah, pictures are worth a
Yeah,
thousand words.
Yeah,
right?
Who
they
has the
might even be
pictures out
something
there?
that Brano wants
I think they took them back.
to take.
Oh, they're on the table there.
Here's my card. Oh, he's here, thank you.
This was really good. These things here. Okay. Thank you very much for coming, and your
Yes, thank you.
presentation was wonderful, thank you.
Did I leave them somewhere then?
Yes, right here with Michelle.
Or Michelle. will-
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
These are
Ready to
going
move
with the minutes.
All right. Now we're gonna discuss Sack Road.
Now, isn't the library first?
Yeah, we had
Business?
curtains and then.
Oh, that's right, library curtains.
Anticlimactic.
That's right. A and B.
Would you like to sit here?
Come
in the
sit down
chair?
with us,
Oh.
please.
Please, yeah.
Yes, that way you
You're
don't
part
have
of
to
the
stand up.
agenda.
Oh, all right.
Right, there. Curtains, wow.
We have some fabric that we would like to put up around the windows in the lobby. No, drilling into the structure or anything, we'd like to use, the removable hooks
Oh, yeah.
that you know, like stick on and can be removed.
Mhm.
Just to kind of swag around the window, the 4 windows there.
Mhm. We're gonna just make that just as homey can be.
Yeah, and it's very echoey in there.
It is.
The rugs don't quite get it on. Maybe this'll help, we're hoping.
So will it still be so people can see in?
Yeah, because it
It's just gonna be swag
there's
stuff?
gonna be like a little bit down the side, kind of across the top, and a little bit down the other side. So the window pretty much is still all
Mhm.
open.
I just a question regarding, are we in any requirement there with regards to any fire codes with
I
regards to
don't know,
flammability?
that would be a good question
Now,
to ask Kevin.
Well,
I think.
the other thing is though, is with the new fire load out in that lobby with all those books there, I suppose it's a moot point, isn't it? But, no, I'm serious, I mean,
True.
this building isn't sprinkled anyway.
No.
Is it?
No.
No. Well, so it probably is a moot point, but on the other hand, you don't want some fabric there that, goes up like a torch either, so, you know what I'm saying?
Not sure where the fire source would be for that fabric.
Well, I know, but these things
You don't know,
are
you never
good to
know,
ask now
right.
before something happens, rather than say, gee, why didn't we ask about fire, before, right? I mean, we know how fast a book will burn, and Bronna must have an answer here, I see it
I
on
do.
her face.
I do. You can buy from Michaels or Joanne Fabrics this spray-on fire
Fireproof,
retardant. My friend who's a potter had to do that for
Right.
one of her displays last summer, and she got it.
Yeah.
They're spray-on cans, and we just,
Yeah, and
they're not
Okay.
that,
And I'm
Thank
only
you.
asking as a question, I don't have the answer And I just wanted to make sure that it was at least addressed.
Yes, absolutely. Sandy, you had something you were gonna say? Nothing? No?
Well,
You just wanted to see if it was gonna see
Yeah,
in,
I
that's all
wanted
you'd be able to
because-
see in.
well, because in the past, when it maybe come up, they were always concerned about, being able to see it, but you know what?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we allow them to do it. The funding, you have the funding for it.
We're all set. The fabric was donated. I'll
Oh.
have some volunteers help me
Beautiful.
put them up.
Madam Chair, I move that
No
we allow them to
structural
do it.
damage involved.
Oh, nice.
Okay, but, before we, all right, I need a second, it's on,
A second.
right,
Was there a
for
motion?
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I seconded.
Should we not speak to, have you spoken to Kevin? Because he's gonna ask who's gonna clean them and
Clean
stuff
them,
like that,
drapery,
yes,
cleaning, all
so,
that
but
The
you're gonna
library
take it.
will take responsibility.
And before we make the motion, go
I
ahead.
just know that at the school, they had to take down all the pictures on the walls, and fire
Okay.
marshal was very strict about it, so I would say you
That's why
better
I-
get the fire
okay,
marshal
but-
in here
I'll
to
withdraw my
approve it
motion.
before you go ahead and do it.
That's what I was, that's why, I
Well,
wanted to.
that's interesting because that school was loaded with
Yeah.
paper stuff all over the walls.
Well, it's not going to be anymore. The last that I was there,
I didn't know.
I volunteered for Four Winds, and the fire marshal had come in, and there can only be like 20% of the walls and the halls can be covered by, and only on the bulletin board. So the new art director is gonna have a big time.
Well, all right, then we should
And
investigate that.
they've
So I
taken
withdraw
down
my
everything
second.
inside.
Yeah,
the-
I don't wanna be against them putting it up there either,
No.
but that's why I said, did anybody discuss this with Kevin, first, to see, that's why I asked her, but, yeah, I think
I think
that's,
we do need to answer that question.
and then.
And it may
wha-
be a simple.
Yeah, why don't we just say, approval upon an okay,
Pursuant to approval by the fire marshal,
yes,
I
Perfect.
move that we
and then
allow it.
And
that
I
way
will
gives you the
second
go-ahead
that,
to go
yes.
ahead and do it if he
You have the
clears
green
it.
light from the select board,
Yeah, okay,
providing the fire
Wow.
marshal's okay
you
with
Let us
that.
second that
know.
I
one?
did. I
All
did.
right.
Let us know, because
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that affects even down here. I mean, I'm
Oh,
assuming
so
these
much.
curtains are
Yeah.
yes, it does.
something
So
which.
Yep. Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded to allow the library to go ahead and put their little swaggies up over the windows. What? What'd I
Yes, you
say?
did.
I think it was
She
good.
didn't
Pursuant
actually call them
to the
little
fire
little
marshal's
swaggies,
approval.
that rather
How's that
means-
sound? Okay? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. What the heck are you?
And I should ask Kevin to pursue that then?
Yes.
With the fire marshal?
I would, and, you can do that too, I suppose, but I think that Kevin, being that he's the maintenance guy,
Well,
would,
yes.
yes.
All
Yep.
righty, very good.
But you
Thank
have your
you.
okay if you need to, if you
Okay.
can, okay?
Great, thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, now we're gonna go on and discuss the Sac
Sac
Road,
Road.
and we're 10 minutes early. David, why don't you come on up? And, let's see, who else is here? Cynthia and Suzanne's here.
Scott's here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Scott, I didn't mean to. How about we, have them all come up? That
don't
way
know, but
it'll be more personable. Suzanne, you can come over here. Scott, wanna come up here? Cynthia? Let's get a chair for you. Scott, oh, you got one, okay. All right, so, while we were at Sac Road, the biggest problem, I think, was that hill, right? If I read everybody's, thoughts. And, because and Josh wasn't there, so, correct me if I make any statements that's not right. That hill, that as you go up, you know,
Familiar with the
gut.
road.
You are, did you go
Yep.
up and look? Okay, so you know that the gully is really deep.
Mhm.
All right, so they've discussed a couple of things that perhaps could work. The Bowers did say that, on their side, they own part of the road that, has that bank there, and then, and maybe put catch basins or 1, 2, whatever, and then make that, thing like this, and then level out the road, correct? Kinda in layman's terms, I realize, but I don't know all the, specifics, but, so, from there, go.
And Fred and Cheryl told us we could use it, so
Mhm.
I wonder, just get something in writing from them, if possible,
Okay,
just to
May-
cover the town.
all right, and then, go ahead.
Well, Madam Chair, as I mentioned at the site, and I will say it again, I think it's really important that before we do anything, we address this with the town attorney to find out what, for instance, what kind of language in some kind of letter of agreement. Because what we don't want to get into is down the road, well, this person granted, but town really didn't have the right to do that, and so forth. We need to find out how we can handle this legally through the legal structure, because without that, I just feel like we're not in a good position.
How about myself, maybe Sandy and David speak with the attorney and get his thoughts on
There'd
that?
be no way of having him come here and talk to the board?
We could do that too.
That way, I mean,
How about-
not that I don't, of course,
No,
I fully
I
believe.
think, I was
but
just trying to save money.
I understand what, he costs more when he comes here?
Yeah, but that's okay, because we could
Well, I
probably
just think
get
it's
him for
really
next
an
Monday night.
important, well, it's a very important thing to me, and it also has,
Yes, I think
it has an impact on future decisions that the board might make.
Right,
Yes.
okay, but I'm not so sure that we need that for, yeah, we would, no, never mind.
I mean, he
But-
could write you a letter and we could share with that. I just want to make sure that we have a clear pathway legally as to what to do here.
I think you're right, I think we could have him come.
Well, I think the attorney needs to write the agreement
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead,
that
David.
residents sign.
On some of Franklin Road and out there, when we talked to Cynthia, there was slope rights. We could go and have slope rights and that, just to do the work and then you're done.
Oh, okay, slope
So I
rates.
don't know, on doing the culverts, if that would cover slope
Yep.
rights along in there.
Yeah,
Right,
all right.
and
That's
that's
a good
one
thought,
issue,
yeah.
but of course, the other end of the
Yeah,
road
that other
is
end,
another issue.
right,
And-
with
And I
Larry's
also
property.
I also want to be sure that the town is fair in not taking property away from somebody and essentially letting the person across the street off the hook. I don't think that's fair to
I
the
agree.
individual whose property gets taken.
Right, I agree.
So I think it's really important that we do this in a fair and even-handed way.
Yes. Now, Larry had said something, or you guess, somebody had asked if the town owns that road, and as it was told to me, and I would like the board to know and get everybody else's thoughts on it, is that a town-owned road or just a town-maintained road, and it's only as, what did you call it?
The
Right,
town
right
has a
of ways?
right of way,
That's it,
as far as I know.
okay.
That
So the
means we
town
get to
does not own
maintain
it,
within that right of way,
all right,
the 24.5 feet.
okay. Yes, but
I might suggest, if possible, that we ask the town clerk to give you the book on Sac Road for the next, for when the attorney's here, and maybe the copies of the proposed surveys that have been in the past, so that he's not coming here totally blind or just hearing from us, he can see something.
Yes, yes.
yeah,
that
so we
be
can get
okay?
that to him and stuff like that, you mean?
But he could, for the meeting, he could come down, maybe meet with us a little early to review the documents.
That sounds good. Yeah, I like that idea.
Because there is a book in there on each road.
Yeah, because I personally, and I don't know about the rest of them, but, okay, you've been up there, you said you know where
Mhm.
Larry lives.
Yep.
All right, so just below Larry, there's this there's a field, and then there's this house that sits down here, then there's another one that sits down here, all right? Larry was saying we could straighten the road out by taking, at least 12 to 13 feet from these two properties apparently. And then, once you get down by that culvert, sorry, that's the Vermonter in me. There's a spot where you could come over onto his property at 13 feet as well. But I don't understand why would we have to straighten it, cause it looked straight to me. Is it straight or am I not?
No, it's not straight.
No, it isn't.
It's off a little,
Yeah.
but it's not.
But where that corner is the real, the worst of it, right?
And if you straighten it out, you're gonna get the complaints about speed.
Yeah, okay.
Well, but the bottom line is the town needs to put the road where the town is allowed to put the road.
Right,
Right.
Whether it's a straight line, as he explained, the property line out there was straight. It's just straight as Governor Hunt Road is behind Michelle over there. And we haven't taken Governor Hunt Road and made a windy thing out of it. Why? Because the town didn't have that road to do that with. That was designated that way.
yeah, but that road has always been like that, you know.
And
it never-
besides that, just watching the traffic that went through there while I was standing by the side of the road, the curves that are in it now aren't sufficient to slow some people down, even with a whole mob of people standing out there.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
I don't think originally straightening it was a concern. And I don't know if it's a stipulation or a trade-off proposed by Larry that if this gets done, he'll give up the corner by the bridge. It could be just a suggestion, but I don't believe I'm speaking for everybody there, but speaking for myself, I don't think that anybody wants to entertain taking 13 feet of people's property for no apparent gain. That's the best part of the road.
I thought that it looked that way too.
If tit for tat's gonna happen, we gotta be fair to everyone. I just still don't agree that we need to take people's land just for the sake of it. If he's still willing to give up the corner by the bridge, that's a bad corner.
Yeah, it is.
And it would be great to capitalize on that and take advantage of it while the offer stands.
Right,
The opposite, I think, is true up the hill where we were standing. I don't know what the gain is of taking 8 to 13 feet of people's lawns to straighten the road. No one's concerned with it's not very crooked.
Yeah.
Well,
We all have steering wheels.
The straightening of the road is not my issue. The issue is that what does the town have the legal right to build a road on? And we need to research that first and get that question answered. I think only the attorney can do that. And then from there, then, what's that?
24 and a half feet, we got a rod and a half.
Well, that's
So
what I'm
roughly
saying.
24
And
and a
so,
half feet.
and we've obviously, there's been some adjustments over the years, from the looks of it, that I could see. Right?
The roads moved a little bit, but not a lot.
Right.
yeah.
All right, well, I still think that we need to talk to the attorney to find out what we should do going forward, because two wrongs don't make a right here, you know what I mean?
Oh, I absolutely agree.
So we need to be sure that we're on good, firm legal footing before we move forward.
The one lady that was there was the second house.
Yeah, that's Mrs. Carroll,
Yes, what's her first name?
Ann,
Not Ann, Barbara?
Barbara.
Barbara, yeah. She said that her driveway, because the road has changed so much and a little bit of a thing there, she said that when she backs up to go out, she has to kinda like go like this to get it, you know, out of her driveway, and it gets worse and worse. Is there something, I mean, will that be fixed for her? And I don't know, have you ever had that complaint before?
No. No,
Because
I
she
know what you're
asked me to
talking.
ask tonight, as I was leaving, she said one more thing, and I didn't go down to look at it, so I don't know, but she said that was her concern as well. Didn't know if that would get fixed for her, if
Well,
it changed.
I think one needs to be very careful about recommending backing out of one's driveway into a thoroughfare, because
Well, she doesn't
that's-
have a lot of property right there, I think that's
Well, I'm
why
just
she have
saying,
no
you
turnaround.
have to be very careful about backing out into
Yeah.
a road.
I didn't suggest anything
Well,
to
yeah,
the
no,
woman,
yeah.
she just told me that's what she
I
does.
understand, yeah.
And apparently she doesn't have a lot of room to turn around in her driveway, so that's what she was concerned about, was that little,
She could back into her driveway.
but yeah, she could back into the driveway, yeah. Yep. All right, so, then I think that it's gonna stay as is for right now, and we get a hold of the attorney and bring him, and give him all these suggestions, and the pros, the cons, and the this or the that, or what people want, what they don't want, and let's go from there. How about next meeting?
But first and foremost, we've gotta find out what our legal grounds.
Well,
are
that's
for
right,
dealing
I'm
with
saying that.
property, right. Cause I mean, then you, from there.
We're gonna have the
you'll-
attorney here next time, and I
Right.
think we could get him, for next Monday night, cause that's our first
Thanks.
meeting. Go ahead,
I
Scott.
just wanted to, ask, I guess, one more question. There's a lot of intricate little components to this whole improvement, but I'm not sure if it's an all or nothing solution. There's a few people that are willing to give a little in places. If this thing starts to unravel, I
Yeah.
don't know that the issue should be put to bed again.
No,
We've got a couple of people that are willing to allow things to happen, which are to improve the road.
right,
It's a step forward. If it doesn't get widened to the desired width and it never gets paved, at least if people can go by without ending up in the hole in the winter, it's an improvement.
right.
So maybe this will be an in part thing. Obviously, the attorney's gonna weigh in on what can be done where. But
Well, I think that all we, for that hill, we just need the, what you call the slope rights, written agreement. And I think that will be the solution for that. We need to come up with a solution for that, definitely. As far as the road changing and stuff like that, that really needs a good investigation from our attorney, but, yeah.
and it
Go ahead,
may only be
Cynthia.
in pieces again.
Yes,
Well, the thing that I think we should come up with, I mean, now it's only 24, a rod and a half, 24 and a half
Right.
feet or whatever, 26 feet, whatever it is. We've paid to have that road surveyed at least 3 times.
yeah,
And if we don't figure out what we're gonna do with the survey that's done most recently, we're just gonna spend a whole bunch more money down the road. And 24 and a half feet really isn't wide enough. We may not have to go to 40 or whatever, but we need to have wide enough and done legally at this point so that the road commission, so the road can be maintained properly.
oh, absolutely.
So 24 and a half feet is really tight, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and you have to have
That's why
emergency
we were-
vehicles out there and
Well,
stuff
that's
like
what we were
that.
trying to establish, a
Yes.
permanent right of way.
Yeah,
So,
and I thought that we had that already going forward,
no, we don't.
and, I thought everybody was okay with the way that we had discussed it, a year ago.
Yeah, but you know, a voice discussion a year ago holds, in my opinion, no water anywhere, and I think the attorney will probably tell you that.
Oh, I
It
agree.
needs to be something besides a handshake or something written on the back of an envelope, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh, yeah, no,
The
I
town
agree.
needs to be in a mode of doing the right thing from the get-go. We
Yeah.
know now there's a problem there. We need to take the proper steps to fix it.
I absolutely
And I'm
agree.
not saying that, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be nice to have 40 feet, but what does that mean? Buying up property all along the road to make it 40 foot wide? And who's going to pay for that? I mean, the road's been the road there
Well,
since
I'll be
the
one of
first
those
house
that
went
have to
in.
sell my house to leave.
Well, that's the
Then
thing,
if
you wanna
we
see
have-
the tax
we're gonna
rate
be
go up.
buying
If we
the
start
property.
buying property like that, it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Yep.
When we did Franklin Road, everybody agreed.
And you have that in writing on a signed document,
Sandy
What?
went around with me when we did all the deeds.
really?
She was town
And so
clerk.
so that road went from 24 and a half to 40?
I can't remember what it was, but it's,
We could settle on whatever width it would be.
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
It's
wouldn't
not-
wanna go any more
I-
than 40.
Right, yeah, but you know-
35,
That's why I went
Right,
back,
I don't
'cause the
blame
last
you,
time
I-
it was 50, so I
Yeah.
went down to 40 this time, just to see if we can get
Yeah,
it in.
yeah, I agree. Did you have anything, Suzanne, you want to add?
I just wanted to speak to the survey too. I know I have heard a lot of commentary on, obviously, we've lost previous survey boundaries, offsets, et cetera. I don't know how the survey was done this time, but I know if this needs to go on further and they're concerned about losing any investigative survey work that was done this time, with GPS survey equipment today and total station, all the coordinates can be comped onto a disk, and 20 years from now, the guy can pinpoint it without a marker.
It was all
So-
done
So
GPS
this
this
should,
time.
this should be, this should not have to be repeated. They may have to go back out and plot it out, but they
Yeah.
would not
I
have to go
just
back and do
think
boundary survey points.
everybody's thoughts and everybody's property should be in consideration, everybody's. And, yeah, I think with that, that's our choice to, I mean, that's how we proceed, is we get the attorney here and, go forward with that. So, good, go ahead, Cynthia.
The agreement was that we were going to maintain the road's position as it is.
Yes.
And I think that some of the property owners want to revert back to an old survey of many, many years ago in which the road would be moved a great deal. And you'd lose the whole base that the road is built on, which you wouldn't have to do a lot. It wouldn't cost as much if you just add a little on each side than if you take and move the road at least a whole road over. I mean, you've got to build the base, you've got to do everything.
Right.
So
Yeah,
what the
it-
survey was done was, as we agreed upon, is that you would take the center of the road, that's what this latest survey was, and widen the road equally on either side.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to get to, yep.
And so that doesn't necessarily follow old rod and a half wide markings of years ago. So,
Right.
so that is a change, and I don't know whether your lawyer idea is going to, where that's gonna lead us.
Well, the lawyer idea is very important to the town, to be sure that we're doing the legal thing. We can't be just going out and basing our actions on something that someone feels good about, because we're dealing with people's property here. The town doesn't even own that road. The town has a right of way through it. That's not like, 142 or Governor Hunt Road, that's a different situation. And so the town needs to be very careful about how it moves, because then we'll get sued later on, and then we'll end up having a bill that the whole town's gonna have to pay. And I don't wanna be here in this situation and not having asked that question and getting some answers up front, because it's very important.
Well,
We've done some things in the past that perhaps weren't in conformance with what the markers that were there, from what I could see today. We need to be very careful about going forward that we do the right thing.
Well, I think that last year, what was agreed on with the property owners was, that if there was gonna be work done on that road, that it would go from the center of the existing road and even on both sides, so that it would be, all property owners would be treated the same. And that means everybody, and that's why,
That's how the survey was
right,
done.
that was how the survey went, and that was the wish of the select board as well.
I think that
as
needs to
the
be reiterated
people.
to the lawyer. I mean, You're
Yeah.
correct. Obviously, the lawyer would have to
You
step
have it
in, and I think
documented?
Cynthia's speaking
Wouldn't
to
it
that.
be?
I don't know.
That's what everybody agreed upon, that's
You were on the
probably
board
what
too.
they'd be willing to sign off on.
If they go back to the old
I
one.
think
Yeah,
so,
that'll-
if you weren't, then,
That's what we tried to
I think,
Well, you might have something in the minutes that kind of says that.
yeah. I
But if
think
you
so.
don't have something signed, and I think that you should just be checking with your lawyer up front.
Deeds signed?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, you have to have deeds
Oh, we do.
signed.
Yeah.
No, we have deeds signed.
No,
No.
no, we don't. We need to have them signed.
Because we
That's
all
what my
agree.
point is here,
But
Chris.
like I
Things
said,
are
we're
a little
up.
too
I'm
loose
not
right now.
arguing with you, Steve.
I know you're not, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too, I agree that we need the
Yeah.
attorney, I'm not
We
saying
do.
we don't.
We do.
And I just wanna be sure that, the wishes of the people are met, not one person over another, but all people.
I think
That
if
is
the-
very
I think if
important,
the
I'm not
attorney
saying that we
understood
shouldn't
this
get an attorney.
conversation between the landowners and based his language on that being the center of the road outward,
Right,
there's more probability that the landowners are going to accept that versus if he does a lot of
Yeah.
research based on old surveys, it's gonna lead us right back to here, and he's gonna get paid.
yeah.
Well,
Because we're the ones that told, the
Franklin
select
Road,
board
the
told him to
engineer
do
had
that.
all the language and everything.
Yep.
Everybody agreed, and we went to the attorney,
Yes.
he wrote them up,
Exactly.
then we went
Well, that
back,
was
and they were
bef-
signed.
Yeah, that was before, when
And that's
Sandy
how
was-
we were trying to do this, but we
Correct.
get to one point, and that's
yeah.
where we
And
are.
it's all or nothing, unfortunately.
Yes, of course it
Unless you
is.
do eminent domain.
No, we don't wanna do that,
Right.
Well,
to anybody.
but eminent domain, what would we have to do, go for the whole road?
No.
Because we apparently don't own it now.
That's true.
Yeah.
What do you mean we do?
That's true.
Oh, that's true.
That's true,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I wasn't hearing you.
Yeah, no, because I believe that was, the motion was to let David to go and do the survey, but he had to promise that I remember being so strict on that the people wanted it to go from the middle of the road, existing road down. So that, that was okayed by the select board. Now, as far as, deeds and all that, no, of course we haven't done that, and I definitely agree with
Yeah,
Steve
just
that we
done
need to
deeds,
do
much
this.
as we
Yeah.
agree,
Right.
you can't do it.
Like
Yeah.
I said, we
Not
got verbal
arguing with
agreement
anybody,
to a
just
certain
saying.
point with the landowners already, so.
Did that before.
If you just filled in the ditches and did on the hill, is that going to, change anything about the rest of the road? I mean, we could go ahead with that agreement and get the hill done.
Right, no, I don't think so, does anybody else think so?
Well, I don't think so, but I still think
Because that was a big problem with
Well,
everybody.
I think that we should, before we put a shovel in the ground, and you can do it, it's next Monday, you aren't gonna
Yep.
start between now and next Monday, I'm sure, that we can get some legal advice on this.
I agree,
Even for the hill with the ditches.
I
and-
agree.
I agree.
I'm not arguing with you.
Well, I'm just, you know how I am, I'm tenacious.
Yeah,
Well, I
me
think
too.
you're right. I mean, if
Like
it's
an old
proposed all the way
pushover.
up through and everybody's all the landowners' interests are represented through the center of the road survey to the attorney.
Yeah,
If 3 out of 5 wanna
yeah, I'll give him a call
participate
tomorrow.
and the other 2 don't,
Yeah.
we're 3/5 of the way better than we were, and there may
Well,
there's
that's
still
true,
a
but-
stalemate.
But you also have to remember that in this country, even though you may be in the minority, your property rights are still protected.
I'm not disputing that.
I know
agree.
you're not, and I'm just saying that this case, or what I'm seeing right now here, this is why I feel that it's very important that we research this thing carefully.
I'm gonna tell you that there are a couple of different surveys out there that are in dispute. And that's
Probably.
going to be a gigantic problem.
Probably,
Yeah,
And one of the surveys, I can tell you, when the road was first proposed to be changed, one of the surveys puts the road at least 40, 50 feet away from where it is now, on our property.
wow.
And I don't, we'll have to fight that.
Yeah, I
will
wouldn't,
tell you, I would fight that.
yeah, I wouldn't expect anything different.
And that's an old survey that has been, other surveys have come past that and changed things, and as far, all of our property's been surveyed several times, I think 2 times anyway, by Dale Merritt, and he says, when his survey comes, does not include this jut down in that.
Straight like it is.
It's straight like it is, it's right along the actually, like Larry said, we own that land that road is over our land, or Matthew's land now,
Yeah,
at the power line.
oh, yeah,
But at that point, the old survey of the 1850s, I believe it is, has that road at least 50 or more feet onto the other, it's a big jut down and around, and it's crazy. And I don't know why it's there. But I mean, you're gonna run into someone who wants to get a lawyer to reinstate that one, I'll tell you that right now.
And that's when it was discontinued in 1851, and they came up with what's here now in 1852.
well, I think they would have to go back to where the landowners turned the deeds over, they couldn't go farther back than that. So, but, yeah, I'll get with the attorney tomorrow and get him set up to come, Monday night and, next Monday, because next Monday is our next regular meeting, I think.
Yes, it is, it's the first.
All right, so then why don't we do that, and I'll have Michelle, our town administrator, let you know that if that's what's gonna happen, okay? All right?
I think from tonight's, from people that were involved, that we need letters to go out to the property owners when you're going to address these issues.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I know for a fact that Michelle did go out there, she wrote up something and went out and put them, near the mailboxes, and she cannot put them in the mailboxes.
But I think it needs to be a certified letter.
No. So it was
Well,
a little
yeah,
late.
that-
I did it.
Do you have
So,
everybody's address?
I got
and-
everybody's address that was there, I'll go talk to the lister and look at a map and
I
get
was gonna say
anybody
the
that I'm
lister's
missing,
what
it
was
was just a little,
It's a tough
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, it was-
it's gonna take some time for me to put that list together, so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will
Yeah, we'll
nail
definitely
things
do that.
next time.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't want
this
any,
is all learning for everybody, you know what I mean?
I don't want
Try
anyone
to
left
do-
out. I mean,
We'll get there one way or the other, and hopefully everybody will be happy.
hopefully this year.
Yes, I mean, the select board did give David the okay to go with the survey last year, and to go from the center of the road. What happens or transpires with the attorney, we'll see next Monday night. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, yep. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for showing up at 5, that was really a great thing, I liked seeing it.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Have a good night. Thanks, David. All right, now the town bottle return program, I'd like to move along a little bit faster now.
Just say that Todd had told me that his internet and his phone was down the week that we had tried, and it was only that quick 2-week turnaround that we tried for. The fire department would like to keep doing that. I also did find out they are still saving the money from last year, they haven't purchased anything.
Okay, where are they saving the money? Is it saving the money in their association? Or what are they doing with the
No,
money?
he didn't, he said that it's not in the association, it wasn't put in there. And he was going to check with JJ, I believe, does that make sense?
Yeah, but the
Trying to
money
remember
should
everything,
be,
to see where it is and how much was in there, so, cause I asked for sort of the accounting, and I also asked, what are your plans to do with
okay,
it, what
but
are you saving for?
wait, this is, that's not good accounting.
Money should be in the town, right?
I don't know if it should go into the town, but, I would think
Well, who's-
somewhere so it's safe, I mean,
Who's crawling around in the dumpsters?
they,
Excuse me?
Well, all right, so the association is.
no,
Oh, really?
no, really. The municipal fire department is, and that's what they are, is a municipal fire department, not
Really?
not an association.
I'm sorry, I thought that they had a separate entity for their fire department activities.
They do, but
They
that's
do, but
not
that's-
necessarily where the money's going. I'll find
Right.
out from Todd where the money's going.
Okay, yeah, because they should keep an accounting of what they have, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, that, they've done it for 2 years, they must have a good amount of money.
I don't know, well, he said that they haven't bought anything with it yet, they haven't
No,
spent it on
but
it.
where is the money? That's,
I don't know.
I mean, it
That
can't be
do-
in somebody else's account, or is it stuffed under a mattress, or, because that would be my
Well,
father.
I'm sure that he wouldn't be doing that under
What?
the mattress.
Well-
Goodness gracious.
Well, I don't know.
It would be lumpy for one thing, especially that much cash.
I know, the day my father died, my mother said, go look in his mattress, see if he left all this
Too
money.
funny.
That's a lot of nickels.
You know, yeah, I mean, I don't know, where you gonna keep it?
Okay, I make a motion that the fire department keeps the bottle return program based on no one else submitting any interest to it.
Second.
I agree with that.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to give it to the fire department, or let them continue with it at least this year? Yes?
Yes.
So fiscal year, 16, 17. All right, and then next year we'll come back with it again. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye, any opposed? The ayes have it, so they will get it. But I would like to know where the money is and that kind of thing, because you may have people ask them where are they keeping it?
I'm gonna send him a message right now, excuse me for being rude,
You're
but
not rude.
I'm just gonna do it, that way it gets done.
I know I have to do it that way too, because if I don't do it right away, forget it, I've forgotten it. All right, building use policy, do we wanna make a decision tonight on this building and use policy?
Oh, please do.
I think we need to.
I'm,
Because we are really denying use of the building
yes,
to go with that
I
policy.
move that we accept the building, the Vernon building use policy as presented in, I'm assuming this is the latest draft.
Yeah, but actually
corrections.
Sandy, with the crossed out pieces and, cause I
Yes.
tried to give you what's.
That's what this says.
Yes.
Yeah, as a correct, with the
Yeah,
And
with
Sandy
the
had some
correction.
suggestions to take out the town auditor's office,
Yep.
to add the town administrator's office and the custodial office in that initial
Yes.
bunch. Does anybody have any other suggested changes before we make any
No,
motions?
I don't.
I tried to pull from different examples of, and we are going to have a lot of denials, I think, coming up. It's kind of difficult for weekly events to get liability insurance, unfortunately.
Yeah, head custodian. Call him custodian, head custodian, or do we call him? Yeah, maintenance foreman, I believe.
That's what it was in the old ones, so if you
I
want,
know,
want me to
maintenance
change it.
foreman
Okay.
is his position.
Well, since there's corrections going on, why don't I
Yeah,
withdraw my
absolutely.
motion? And then once they're finished, I'll remake it with the corrections.
That sounds wonderful, thank
I
you.
think it's a good idea, yeah.
Thank you.
Much cleaner that way.
It's getting hot in here.
It is, I'm ready to go, you get, yeah.
One of these things. I did take preschool out of everywhere.
Yeah, the auditor's office is out.
We did add a refundable deposit of $50. It used to be that it was per decision of the head custodian, who's now the maintenance. And Kevin had
Yeah,
asked
no,
us to
he's
take it
maintenance
out
foreman.
so that
Yeah,
it was not arbitrary, that it was
Yeah,
for
very good.
everybody or
I like
nobody.
that, yeah.
yeah.
And included in this too are some provisions about decorating the building, inside and out. So when it comes to, that would include Halloween decorations, Christmas decorations, 4th of July. They are use of the building, so there's, either workman's comp insurance, liability insurance if people are decorating, and you need to have approval from Kevin, or the maintenance.
Well, so then what
Foreman.
about these curtains?
Then they need to see Kevin.
Well, they're going
As
to.
with this, they would just need approval from Kevin to put them up. Well, technically, that's really under the community use part, so the library wouldn't, so it's that's only under the public use.
I think that, I'll get to you in a minute, Ronna, but I'd like to have the select board discuss this first.
Okay.
You have to go and change every head custodian to foreman maintenance, be sure you do
Absolutely, yep.
that, okay?
Yep.
All right, second of all, I don't know if, I like the idea that, Kevin tells somebody they can or cannot do something in the building, as far as putting up decorations or anything like that. Cause I feel that we made a motion, a few meetings ago, that anybody that wants to do decorations has to come to us.
Okay, so,
And so I think that should be the select board, not, because to me,
But
say I
does that
don't,
mean that if they wanna have an event before our next meeting, that we have to have a special meeting?
No.
to Look at
Kevin,
decorations?
no,
All right, good, I just
no,
was
no,
wondering.
no, that's not what I
all.
mean,
All
at
right,
all.
All right, well,
What I'm saying is I
I
don't,
misunderstood you.
yes, cause I don't ever explain myself very well. I just think that, I don't know.
I think that,
No, go ahead,
I was reading that this is for like if Steve, okay, let's like Nancy, she wants to have a birthday party for Jeff downstairs. Before she can decorate, she needs to get that maintenance foreman's approval.
That's one thing, I'm not talking about that,
But I
I'm
think that's
talking
what this
about
is-
decorate, like they came and asked for, to put curtains up. I
Right.
don't think that, maybe I don't like them, and I say, and I'm the maintenance foreman, I say, no, I'm not gonna let you do that, cause I don't like you people.
No, but this here has
No, I
to do
don't
with,
think anybody should have that
with
kind of power.
Nancy coming in as a individual renting the building.
that's just only for community use.
Yes, there's two separate.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
is just
As
community
long as that's what it
use.
means,
Yeah, this is community, cause she's having to pay $50 deposit too.
you know, cause, all right,
It's community versus town use, is that the
I
other?
know, but the thing is
Yeah,
that
town
we,
uses you have
we
permission
just
and
made a motion
automatically.
Yeah.
a few meetings ago that said that nobody can put decorations up on this building or inside the building without permission of the select board. Now we're gonna go and change it?
well, no, I'm not sure that we should change it, but.
I don't either.
On the other
Say
hand,
holiday.
I don't really wanna get the select board convened every time someone wants to
Well,
have a
they'll have to
birthday party-
wait.
Birthday party here, what?
Then they'll have to wait. I get it, if you're talking about somebody using it for a birthday party, and they, of course they wanna decorate, I get that. Then yes, that would be through Kevin.
Right.
But if they wanna put, you know, the, like they did this year, whoever put
Right.
those, buntings
Buntings.
up or whatever they are, they don't go to Kevin, they come to us. And they have to come when we meet. No, we're not gonna convene in a special meeting for that.
So we can just put absolutely no alter, it's number 12, in case you're looking for it, so we can just change that to select board.
See, cause it does say exterior of the building.
So
So
we'll
change that to
just,
select board.
Yep, and I was thinking more like putting balloons out for a birthday
Right.
party, but it would also cover if they're nailing bunting to the side.
Because you
or-
used to do those pinwheel things or whatever it was. You didn't do it if, just because Mike said it was okay, you came to the board and asked the board. And that's the way I feel it should be. The board should be the ones, there's 5 of us, and that way 5 of us make the decision, not one person. I mean, but I'm only one person here, y'all can make your own choice.
well,
And I'm leaving in
I
March.
certainly have no argument with your position, Chris.
I do have another question.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna put-
Sure,
No,
go
that's-
ahead. Go ahead, start something else, Sandy.
Back page, go to
Back
Craig.
page, quick.
I don't know, I think it's at this, where'd she go? At the school, you can't have smoking
Even on their campus.
on the campus. Is that here too?
Yes.
No, there's butt cans out there.
Yes, there is. Oh,
Yeah,
these
right up
stinky
here.
things.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just checking that because I didn't know.
So somebody can walk up to the building and put this
There's a certain
smoking
number of
thing,
feet that you're
stinky
supposed
thing.
to be away.
Yeah, there's one when you come in the police door.
Oh,
You use
yeah,
it to
that's
prop
right.
the door open sometimes. It's a
Oh, no, I
very
use the
useful tool.
Mike stand.
Well, the cement block is too heavy for me.
Yeah. Well, not for me, these guns.
No, I know, you're in a different place.
And the
Okay, I
alternative
just
to that
asked
is
her.
having cigarette butts all over.
Yeah,
So I just wasn't sure if the school was different than us. And we are.
yes, they are.
Thank you.
You have to stay right off there.
Okay, that was my only
There.
question, Chris.
All the rec is
That was a
a
good question.
non-smoking campus also, all the pool area and all the baseball fields and everything.
Oh, good, good.
And I did add marijuana in there just because in case it becomes legal, at some point, you don't have to change this. That's the only reason I did that.
Madam Chair,
But
Okay.
totally
I thought we
open.
accept the building, Vernon building use policy as corrected.
And I second.
Okay,
And we can stop there and sign it.
all right. Motion's been made and seconded to accept the building and use policy as corrected.
With the effective date of tomorrow?
Wow, okay. It's up to the board.
Sure,
So
Or we
good
could
idea.
effective date Monday and
Wanna-
sign it Monday night.
Yeah, we'll
Is that
sign
the
it
best?
Monday night. You'll get
Effective
it
date,
changed and we'll
8/1.
sign it Monday night? Okay.
So effective August 2nd?
Yep. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Oh,
Okay.
Cindy will be so happy.
Well,
It's nice to have
Um,
policies.
all right,
the next one.
municipal trash pickup. Go ahead.
Okay, I can do this actually really fast.
Good.
With some of the changes that have been made and suggested, we can save close to 50%, especially thanks to the school. They're down to 1 6-yard dumpster now. So where the school was at one point almost $700, they're now down to less than $400. It has been suggested again that the pool and recreation, which is getting picked up weekly, we're getting charged for weekly even through the winter. That's now, and we've talked to Seth, it's now no pickup in the winter, it'll be on call in case it gets full for whatever reasons, you know, if we have a winter like this winter, people may be using the
How
park.
did they get in to pick it up?
Well, this winter we
they
didn't
were
have any
charged,
snow.
but yeah, but.
So, but, and then,
They don't plow it.
so what it is during the winter is $25 a month, plus you pay $50 when they come get it, so you just call them and say, can you come empty it, there's stuff in here.
Okay.
The fire department really wants to keep their dumpster, the trash, Triple T had suggested they go down to a 68 gallon
Well, I thought
roll-off.
they were gonna do bags. What
But-
happened to that?
Well, you asked me to check on it, so Todd said that when they have events, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
So, he had suggested they keep the 2-yard dumpster and go to bi-weekly pickups, that they could do that. And the dumpster is locked and they are not having the filling problem that they did before.
Okay, good.
Okay, so that will save some money there. The town, we can't really do any better than we're doing right now. And the town garage is taking the town off of that. That's a 0 for the municipality. So, that's where we've
Why,
gotten
who,
with that.
where do we,
I have no idea what they're doing with it, but
now who's the 0,
is the town garage.
a town garage, okay.
Yeah, they're taking care of their own.
Okay,
So overall, talking with all the departments, they really pulled together and figured out how they could streamline
yeah, very
the
good,
garbage.
very
So,
good,
everybody
very good.
with that, okay,
Yep,
that's that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was it in a nutshell. I tried to do it really fast.
okay, you did great.
Good job.
Okay, all right, town administrator, duties and,
Fire department engine 1.
The
yeah,
engine.
that's, not yet,
So that's after town
That's
administrator.
after.
They're after, okay.
I put it after, of course I did.
Oh,
Okay, so, I just wanted, Michelle to put this out so that, people will understand she, you know, her position and our position.
I think it's very good, Chris.
And I did too, it's Michelle wrote it, I didn't. And,
she edited it a few times.
no, I didn't. Yes, I did. But, so, I just wanted that to be put into record, this is from her, job
Is that something
description.
that we should be signing, or as
No.
a select board, no?
No, this is,
Do you want a motion to this effect?
Do we wanna, we don't need to.
Really the job description, just
I
sort of
understand
cut
that, yeah, I
down, and
understand.
I mean, all I really added was sort of the political ambiguity of
And
the
I thought that was
position.
very well done there.
Yeah, so do we want to have her send it out as a memo to all department heads, or?
Well, and I don't.
Or we don't need to?
And I don't mind, you know, making a motion either, that it is the understanding of the select board that this is the town administrator's duties in brief.
Okay,
You know, I think it's the treasurer's office, I think Sally at one time put it in a frame outside her office.
outside of her office.
If you just was to put this in a frame outside of your office, so people know who you are, what you do.
Okay.
Yeah. that
Well, and
would be
I
good.
don't think it would hurt to disseminate this to all of the departments in town either. That would be my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And it needs to be understood by all departments in town that this is something the select board supports.
Yeah, that way we don't get the, you know,
Well, exactly.
stuff we ran into last year.
Exactly, yes, right, yeah.
So, yeah, all right, I guess we don't need a motion, you'll send it out to the department heads and frame your, put a little frame outside your. Hey, everybody!
We just framed her.
With
Yeah.
the fire
Okay.
marshal's okay.
All right, and,
Put it behind glass. Break glass if you have a fire.
okay, so that being done and said, now you can go on to your update of the old engine 1.
Update of the old engine one
Yep, yep.
is that the Miller Farm is interested in old engine one. Their fire department's gonna take it up to them tomorrow evening to see if it will perform all the functions that the Miller Farm needs it to perform. And then we may have an offer after that, yet to be seen after tomorrow evening.
Okay, we never got another offer?
Not that I am aware of, no, he did not mention getting another offer.
Okay, very good.
They
Then-
did stop by and submit a bid this evening.
Yeah,
Oh, they did?
yeah.
Yes, just so
Okay.
you
I
know.
thought they were going to, so, yeah,
I
Great.
didn't wanna,
yeah.
I don't know what the process
Yeah,
is.
cause I think
since it's
that'd be
not-
great, if they can use it, then, you know, and he's got no other bids. It would be great for them if they can use it, so that'd be wonderful that he's taking it up there, thank you, Todd, very much. All right, moving on, public participation, cause we're gonna go in executive session pretty soon. So, this is agenda items only, come on up.
question about the dumpster staying at the rec department, like all those months that it's not staffed down there. I mean, is there a fee when they come and set up a dumpster again?
And when they take it away.
And so that balances out even the monthly fee if it's not getting emptied?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it depends on when you wanna take it out, cause really when you're talking snow, it's only about 3 months.
Well, I mean, I think if people are using the area, it's not staffed, that whatever they bring in, they should be taking out,
Yeah,
you know, and not dumping in the dumpster.
The rec has started to do that already,
Yeah.
for example, the Huckle Hill baseball fields used to have trash cans around it.
Oh, yeah.
We took all the trash cans out because of the new state rule, wherever you have to have a trash can, you have to have a recycle bin. And that's just a gigantic pain in the neck, so it was a take in, take out all throughout the baseball
Yeah.
season this last year, and it worked very well.
Yeah, just wondering why it sat there and we paid for it.
yeah,
Thank you.
yep. Anybody else? Okay, correspondence?
Okay, super fast. How fast can I go through correspondence?
Well,
Okay,
you
there's
might
a
as
letter.
well, loop in your
the
administrative report too.
Biggest one is the letter from the Capital Plan Committee.
Yeah,
Do you wanna read that out loud, or?
oh, you
They
can.
just wanted you to reaffirm, the duties that you gave the committee last year. So it says, please review the duties and advise if there's any changes to our charge from the select board. We want to begin meeting and talking with department heads. We know you're very busy, so unless there are changes, we do not need to meet with the select board. We'll just begin the review process with the department heads and advise you with copies of our minutes. We await your reply.
No, I think just let them go ahead and go.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask if we could possibly get a copy of that to review and then maybe,
You have it in your,
oh, I'm sorry.
your
Okay,
additional
why don't we
packet.
do that? This came tonight.
Yeah, it
We
came
didn't
tonight.
have it to read over the weekend.
I just got it this afternoon.
Right, so why don't we, put it on the, August 1st agenda?
I was gonna
That's
say-
only Monday.
I was gonna say, why not? I don't seem to have one here.
It's behind the resumes, I believe.
Oh, all right. Oh, I
It's in
left,
that
I put
Yes, and
those in
keep
here.
your resumes,
Well,
Those are separate.
that's
We're not
not
doing that tonight.
public record.
Keep your
Okay,
dry.
there's a new source protection area map for Vernon Homes. If anyone's interested, it's been filed with the, town clerk's office. Okay, the RFP for audit services has been mailed. We are getting a lot of inquiries on it. It is also on the Vermont bid system. We're members of that now, so if we have other RFPs that need to go out, that is an option that we can use. Try to go really fast. Hopefully you're all aware, there was a flyer that went out to Central Park residents, notifying them of the progress that was going on. I did get a couple of thank yous, that was signed from the highway department and the select board as well, so. And the flyer went out to Sac Road property owners. I really tried to catch everybody. I apologize for missing people. We'll do more mailings next time. The help wanted posters went up for the recording secretary, which is also shared on Facebook. And there's a First Light final report, which I copied like the first 30 pages of for you. It's a 213-page report, so this will give you an idea. Okay, and the Entergy, FERC issued, a letter regarding the Entergy construction denying a motion from the NEC about reconsidering the last motion. That's something you've heard like
Yeah.
4 times now, same old, same old.
Yep.
Okay, now here's a couple things I would like the board to consider for signature. This is, to get us on the list for notification for surplus property. And this would be mostly for our highway department, so this is for things like plows, military surplus equipment that's really not used very much. And it's up to sort of, the person from the highway department to determine if it's worth purchasing, but it gives us the option. It's not promising that we're going to buy anything, but it will notify us when it's available, so if there's
Oh, that's a
extra
good
plows
idea.
and things like that around. And so what you need to decide is the chief, the organization chief, if that's going to be the chairman of the select board, or is that going to be David? Okay.
probably
So-
ought to be David.
Cause David
Yes.
won't change.
Can we have that in our packet and do this on, so we have it to read?
Wonderful.
And then, do it on, put it on the agenda? And you and I need to get together to work on the agenda either tomorrow or Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Or how about Wednesday?
So, Wednesday is
Tuesday is
good.
gonna
I
be a
am
hard
at
day
your
for me.
back
I have a lot of appointments coming up.
Okay,
Um,
fast, I am almost done.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Put
there's
that
one.
within our packet so
Yep.
that we can, yeah.
Yep, that'll go in the next packet.
All right, August 1st meeting. Yep, okay.
Okay, let's see, the, staff has created a health and safety committee. It's an informal committee, but it, is official in a way that our insurance, we get insurance breaks and we get insurance perks if we have a safety committee that meets on a regular basis.
Right,
So
I remember
that
that.
has been formed, and I think I provided everybody with a copy of the bylaws. And
Who's the lead on that committee?
Cindy Turnley has been elected as chair.
Yeah, we used to have one, Sally used to do that, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Yep, so, yeah,
So it's-
that'd be only just right to have Cindy do it,
It's
yeah.
been resurrected, and actually, we had a hazard assessment done on the whole building so that we can hopefully take advantage of some hazard mitigation grants that are coming up, which are due by, I think, October 1st.
Wow.
So we wanted, so if we had that hazard assessment grant again, solidifying us even more to get that funding. So that's been done, we should have the results soon, and when the committee gets those results, they're gonna decide what they wanna write the grant for. Okay, alright, wanted to, give you all a heads up, I believe I included in your packet about overtime rule changes.
Yes.
As we
Yeah.
move into the budget discussions and thinking about budgets coming up, there has to be some significant changes about who's an exempt and who's a non-exempt employee here.
Yeah.
So kind of put that in the back of your head, please read that, if you have questions, call me. It's important stuff that's coming down in December, so it will take effect in this budget year.
Yeah, because, we did have one that was always questioned, which was David, because he didn't have enough employees underneath him to be an exempt employee, and,
David falls under the exempt rules pretty solidly.
I
Good,
think so,
Yes, yeah, it's David's employees. And it's also,
But
we're
they're-
talking about recreation employees
Yeah,
that
but
may
they-
be working on comp time, which is not going to be allowed.
Yeah, right.
but even the rec employees, even if they're seasonal, they have to
Nope,
be.
seasonal doesn't count. The
Okay.
seasonal doesn't count, however, Ian would count. So if he's
Yes, of
working
course.
over 40, he can't comp anymore after December.
Um,
But Seth can.
Seth can,
he's
because
salary.
Seth is
Seth can.
going to fall into the exempt, but Ian will
What makes
not.
the difference there?
Yeah.
Because they're both salaried now, I believe.
He can't be salaried because he's not
It's in
making enough
here.
money, and he doesn't fall under the definition of an exempt.
But his pay is salary right now, correct?
it is.
It
Okay.
can't be though in December, because
Okay.
unless he's getting
We're gonna have to put him on
$47,400
hourly.
something dollars, you can call it a salary, but you still gotta pay overtime after 40 hours.
Okay.
That's why if you read that, I'll give you a good idea. It's important, because that used to be 26,000.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify
just-
because it was only like 2 years ago, or I think it was 2 years ago, that the select board made him salary before I was on the select board.
And he probably falls under it now, but in December, unfortunately, with that,
It flops
with
back.
that income jumping up so high, I mean, it's doubling, so.
I have
and-
to ask about this, because on David's hours, this particular one that you gave me, it says, Friday at 9:56 AM, Chris Howe called about a detour sign, and for 2 hours?
Yeah,
I didn't call him for 2 hours,
Well,
I called him for 5 minutes.
that was on the, he had to go research it.
Oh, no, he answered my question on the phone.
But that was the minimum when they were called in, they would get 2 hours.
I didn't call him in, I just called and asked him a question.
It's sort of like when you call the attorney.
So that's the other thing about maybe.
That's ridiculous, that to me is
Well-
sucking
So
it
that
up.
may mean that we need to talk about reviewing
That makes me
some
angry.
timesheets.
Yeah, I think so.
That really makes me angry.
Well, I'm sure there's a larger,
Oh,
there's
maybe he
more
went out.
information.
I hope so.
Does this fall out in December 1st or
Because
December
he just answered
31st?
my question on the
I
phone.
think it's the middle of December, actually, like,
Okay.
yeah.
December 5th,
It's in there.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date.
They discussed
Sorry.
this at,
Can't remember.
they discussed this at that training that I
And I
went to.
think that maybe we start making
And
them
I,
work 5 days a
I
week
got
instead of
actually a
4.
copy of
How's
this.
that?
Did they?
Fortunately, I got swamped with some
That was my.
Not, yeah,
But anyways, so please take that home and read it, and then
Yeah.
we could probably make a special meeting to think about what to do budget-wise.
Yes.
'Cause that's gonna put,
To make sure that we are all in compliance. That's the whole idea, is to make sure that we stay in compliance. Okay, right now, we're good, we're in compliance, but once that income jumps up, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to reevaluate a little bit. Alright,
no, this makes me very angry, I have to say that. And I'm gonna say it probably all night now.
Well, don't be upset.
Oh, no, that really
Remember
makes me angry.
to take a deep breath.
Take 2 hours from the town because
Yeah.
I give them a call and it didn't even take 3 minutes.
well, you're going into executive session in a little bit, you could, okay,
No, I
so,
can't, cause I'm not going in on that.
you are, all part of the EAP program. As far as employee relations go, I gave you something in your packet, so please sign up if you feel like you wanna do that. Talking about a health board appeal that's probably coming down the pike, we've got some time, so don't stress about that. We were gonna have to schedule one, but now we don't. Mark Snow, the health officer, needs to do some very specific things based on what our attorney has told us. So until that happens, there's no clock ticking, so we can, hopefully it'll all resolve itself before we have to do that. And just a heads up for
I'll
budget
remember
time,
that at budget time.
town clerk is going to probably go over budget a little bit because of state mandates with the ballot machines now. And it's $700 to $800 to reprogram the card, so he will come back and explain it to you more at the next meeting, but wanted me to give you a heads up.
I think we heard about it from the previous town
We
clerk,
did.
that those expenses would be incurred.
And unfortunately, they weren't budgeted for. They budgeted $1,000 for election, and it is, right now,
It'll be like.
it's 13 just for the 2 elections. That's
I
with no
believe
food,
they-
no donuts, no nothing.
No, I
That's-
believe they did ask, they did put it somewhere in their budget for that. But I
remember
have to,
discussing it.
They
yeah.
might not have, maybe they didn't
It's
have the
not
correct
in the
numbers.
elections part,
Oh,
it's
it's
in
not?
something else. And I don't remember what, so that should be
I will
investigated
ask
because,
Cindy
Yeah.
if she knows, and I will,
Yeah.
oh, God, Tim will be so happy.
We talked about
We
it a
did.
lot.
yeah, we did.
Oh, Tim will be very happy to hear that. And then, there's some copies of resumes, if you can all go over that, we'll set up a time to talk about that, or you can, and I'm going
Well,
on
I think we
vacation on August 4th and returning August 15th.
Yay.
Yay. I think that, August 1st, we should, do you wanna, discuss this? This would be, you know, it's,
I think it's very important.
yeah, it's August, I mean, it's,
Yes, I think
we
we
could
should,
probably plan on
Yes.
an executive session, although we
Yes.
can't put that in our
I agree.
agenda, but yes, we'll
Yes,
do the,
yes, that's appropriate.
we'll put that on our agenda for the
August
next,
1st.
August 1st,
Yes.
okay?
What is going on it for August 1st?
The,
Resumes.
resumes.
Okay.
Discussion of the.
Yeah, discussion,
Yeah, general something.
yep, yep. And I lost my, there it is, okay. All right, all set?
That's it, that's my all in one breath.
Wow, that was very fast, very
I could not
good.
keep up.
I'm glad you have it there.
I'll give you my.
I hope not. Oh, no. No,
I'll give you a copy of this,
yeah.
I'll email it to you tomorrow, I'm sorry, that was really fast.
That was very fast.
Well, did you get all the information, do you have any
Yes,
questions?
yes, yes.
Okay,
No, great, thank you.
I know that everybody's getting tired.
Yeah, and after a certain time, my meds wear off and I become a screaming Mimi,
You don't want
you know, kind of a thing, and we don't wanna put up with that. I'm only kidding, I'm not on medicine to calm me down.
That's not true.
Whoops.
I laugh.
It's all right, it's all captured, don't worry, don't worry. Everything, the camera's always aimed right at you too, did you notice that?
No, why is that?
It's wonderful, because when they aim it at me, the poor thing goes upside down, so.
Well, you know, I've become 40
I've always-
acres around here, does
I've
it mean to
always done
capture
that
that?
to cameras.
Also, everybody, please fill one of these out if you haven't already.
Yes.
This is from the store committee.
Yes.
I didn't get one, so. None of us got one.
But I give it to you in your packet.
Okay.
Are you ready for?
Just a minute, I wanna make sure that, because Bronna got up while we were talking and I didn't wanna interrupt our talk, so Bronna, did you have something you wanted to say? It was when I was talking about,
I don't know.
oh, one for Emily.
I had several things, and now I can't remember any of them. I think some of them were answered. I had a question, I think, about if departments have assistants, then the rec department has an assistant who's salaried, but all the other assistants are not. So that's I think this stuff is gonna be rectified and straightened out in
Yeah, that's what we
December.
need to sit down and figure out.
I had a thought, but I think I should address it to Dave Walker first. A suggestion, how much money would the department save if they went on 5-day work weeks in the winter and 4-day work weeks in the summer? Because if there's snow in the winter on a Friday, then that's overtime.
I think
That's
that's
not
a,
for me to.
I think that's a good question, and I would like to propose that, and we'll discuss this at another time.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the agenda, but I'd like to propose that everybody goes to a 5-day work week. End of story, but that's up to the board.
That
So,
was it.
I never liked the 4-day work week anyway. Okay, Commissioner Overhead.
Are you ready for the motion?
I am,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I move to go into, the board go into executive session on a personnel matter. The disclosure this time to be detrimental to the town or individuals involved.
Second.
So motion was made and seconded to go into executive session on a personnel matter.
Appointment of appointment or evaluation of public officer
Yeah,
should be.
yes.
It's number 2 on the list.
Number 2. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Y'all can go home because we're gonna end it from here. There'll be no decisions made in executive session.